All knife makers need abrasives, plain and simple. Here at Knives Templars, we're proud to partner with Phoenix Abrasives. I used to get my belts from another company, but they spent more time on marketing than they did customer service, sometimes taking 2+ weeks to ship my order. That's not the case with Phoenix Abrasives. They're obsessed with committing all of their resources to customer satisfaction. Whether you're using a 2x72, 2x42, 1x30, or something else, they've got you covered. They even carry Rhino wet sandpaper. So go to phoenixabrasives.com/shop and enter promo code Templars10 for 10% off your next order.
I told my wife that when I'm done and gone, I'm to be cremated and my ashes to be loaded into a shotgun shell and shot away.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Odacir Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Erick T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Bucket.
Joey the Riot Theriot.
Cochon de lait will make you smack your lips and anyone getting too close to your plate.
Luke Beerslinger Berry.
I know there's a certain look that I'm trying to go for.
Marc Vasallo.
You drinking my soupy?
And Chip Shegman Carlisle. And now broadcasting alive, it's the Knives Templars. Coming to you live from Forecast Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are the coolest knife-making podcast on the planet, and we are downloaded around this big blue marble in over 24 countries. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com. All right. Hey, guys, like I said, Season 3, Episode 24, we're growing, and we've got something exciting tonight. We've got one heck of a great guest that's on here, but I want to let you know up front, I'm getting over a little bit of the plague that I've had this week, so if I sound a little nasally, I'm coming through it. We've got Joey Theriot with us tonight. How are you doing, Joey?
What's going on, Chip? How you doing?
Good. How's the new house working out?
Good, man. And, I'm loving it. Finally got moved in, so looking forward to getting back to some knife making.
Yeah, so, I'm going to say, as we said at the end of the show last week, that video that you've got right now with that white background and everything, you need to start doing YouTube videos because you've got the perfect background and lighting for it. It looks really good there. Odacir, you had a little bit of technical difficulties getting uploaded before, but now you seem to be okay. How's things going on up there in Laurel, Maryland?
Pretty good. Having some fun, failing some car, the usual stuff.
Typical Pinto stuff, for sure.
Yeah, man.
For sure. Hey, Don Watson down in Florida. I guess it's warmed up a little bit down there, guy?
Oh, yeah, man. Beautiful day today, probably 77, 78 degrees, no humidity. It was great. Real nice.
Did you get in the pool?
Oh, heck no, brother. Oh, no.
If I felt better, I'd have been in your pool. And we've got Marc Vasallo. Marc, what's going on with you down there in South Alabama?
Hey, Chip, how you doing? It's down here in Mobile, it's getting close to Mardi Gras season, so which makes it a busy time for me at work. But everybody's getting ramped up and excited for that.
Yeah, what do they call the cakes that you guys? King cake?
King cake.
I have not experienced the king cake, but that's going to be a first for me for this year. I'm excited.
Joey, you're a king cake eater, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
You ever choked on the little baby inside?
I did, yeah, I did. When you do, you gotta intern by the next king cake. So yeah, they even have boudin king cakes.
We have to keep it. Well, I've got something exciting I'm going to tell you guys about. Marc, on the screen next to you right now that we're all looking at, on my screen anyway, we've got somebody that did you meet down in Mobile at the battleship, Josh Howard?
We did. We probably didn't know we were going to meet in this forum, but got a lot of opportunities to meet with him and watch him do his great work down there at that battleship build off, or I think that was the name, something like that. And it was a great opportunity to get down there and watch a whole bunch of great bladesmiths create some blades and then raffle them, not raffle them off, but give them away to the winners. It was a great format where you gave tickets to the bladesmith that was your favorite for going into the event, and then the person who had the most tickets would win the knives. So it was I did not win a knife, unfortunately, so I was pretty disappointed, but it was a great event.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, Josh, Howard, Erick is not on with us tonight because, unfortunately, Erick's had someone pass in his family, and he's helping his family through that. A distant relative, or excuse me, not a distant relative, but a relative in his family, not his immediate family. And so we will miss him and wish him the best in God's grace. But we've not only do we have Josh on as part of the Pop's Maker's Mark series. We're going to have him on as a Knives Templar co-host tonight if he wants to sit through us with the whole thing. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Man, it's nice to have a North Alabama guy up here. And actually, I think I'm an import. My grandmother is from Clanton, Alabama. I grew up in North Carolina and then went to Detroit for 15 years and finally made it to Alabama. But with you're from North Alabama, aren't you?
Yep, born and raised right here within a 5-mile radius of where I grew up.
So you've seen it all grow up around you as we continue to grow. So, hey, I hope that you stick with us on the show tonight. When we get into the Knives Templars, we're going to learn a lot more about you. Hey, guys, one thing I want to do is find out what everybody's drinking tonight. I'm so happy to tell you what I'm drinking tonight. I'm excited. It's time for the brew review. Don, what you got going on?
Oh, I'm drinking my Yuzu Cacao, baby. Creole brew.
Yeah. That's pretty, for the men, baby. That's what I was guessing. Odacir?
Corona, as always.
Top shelf Corona.
Oh yeah, man.
All right. Luke?
I have a beer by Slow Pour Brewing called Southernality.
Now you hold that right there. Hold it right there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you why in a second. Joey, what are you drinking tonight? You're still drinking out of the styrofoam cup, I see.
Oh, you know it, Knob Creek.
Oh.
Knob Creek. I was going to say make sure it's not any of that Louisiana white liquor because it'll burn right through that cup. So, but Knob Creek, Knob Creek, some good stuff. And Mark, you drinking a Florida man tonight?
No, I wish I could find one. I actually went back to that AOK, that I found. So I had another one of those left, and then I have a second here for a Voodoo Ranger.
The Voodoo Ranger, a little citrusy drink there. And Josh, were you dipping or were you drinking?
Both. I'm dipping my Copenhagen, and I got drinking my Milo sweet tea.
Well, there you go. And I tell you what. A man who is dipping Copenhagen and does what he does with hot steel, that is somebody that you want to take to a fight because I tell you, you ain't going to lose. That's for sure. Well, guys, I'm going to give you my brew review tonight. It's called Honey Lemon Tea because my throat is coming back together. And so I don't have a brew review. So, Luke, we're going to put it in your hands. Tell us about the beer you're drinking.
So I am drinking a beer that was made by Slow Pour Brewing. It is right up the street from me in Lawrenceville, Georgia. It just so happens that my partner that I make knives with used to be the GM for Slow Pour. So I've kind of tasted and tested a bunch of their brews. This current one that I have is their IPA.
And what's the alcohol content?
It is 5.2% ABV.
Okay.
And I got to say, I used to hate IPAs. I wasn't a fan of the grapefruit flavor. I just wasn't a fan at all. I'm more so like a lager guy. But this Southernality, it's changed my point of view. It's sweet. It's smooth. It's not too bitter. I was told that whenever I took my first sip to imagine yourself drinking a tall glass of orange juice that you would get on the airplane. Oddly specific. But with that in mind, my first sip was shockingly delicious. And I'm a fan. I think
I've
it's
always
pretty
had
good beer.
the IPAs. The Voodoo Ranger. You're going to taste the grapefruits in that. The thing is, the whole citrus taste of those IPAs. I'm not a big fan of it as much as I used to be. So if you've got one that's worth holding on to, that's good. Now, what is the name of this beer again?
It's called Southernality.
Southernality. Is it available in the local markets there in the area?
In my area, it is. I actually stumbled upon a 6-pack at the gas station like a mile from my house.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to be over in your area here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have to go out and get a bite to eat and try that. That sounds like a winner.
Yes,
hopefully you'll have time to do something along those lines. With regard to IPAs, answer a question for me here, and it may be just I don't know. Do they all kind of have a citrusy taste?
From my understanding, there's like the fruity West Coast, and then there's the hazy East Coast. This one is more so hazy, which, as my belief, is sweeter.
Okay.
It's not going to have like the traditional transparent look to it whenever you're looking at a beer in a glass.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not, like I said, I don't know much about IPAs, but
well, nobody.
I think there's
Go ahead.
I think there's like a bitterness scale, like I don't know what they call it, the IBA or something like that, right? And so I know when I go to some of the local breweries down here, they'll have them listed by bitterness scale, and the IPAs are really at the top of those lists. So it's acquired taste, I think.
Well, Luke, you're fine because nobody listens to the Knives Templars for anything that's factual and truthful. It's just our pleasant personalities. They can all Google it later, right?
Of course.
Yes, they can.
Taste it for themselves.
No. Well, hey, listen, thank you for taking over the brew review. You may have to become our new brew reviewer
I'd be
for a
happy
while
to.
until I get my voice back. Yeah, you're a good guy. You're good at that. Hey, who wants to hear what's on the menu tonight?
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got an exciting little menu, and here's what I'm gonna let you guys experience with me as we strap ourselves in. We've got some news and useful information. Since there's not always a lot of knife news out there, or good knife news, I should say, I'm looking for something that just interests me, and actually listening to another podcast and then going out and verifying it this week, I found some interesting information that kind of ties into things that I'm interested in. I thought, well, that's newsworthy, and I'm going to talk about it. Then we've got several topics to talk about. We're going to talk about Don on the old tilt table and platen that we've got as far as grinding with that thing. A lot of people are starting to move to that. Seems that success is in it. And I know Don and I both have that device, and we've seen more people popping up in some of the forums that are using them, and we'll talk about that. I mentioned that we've got the Maker's Mark with Josh Howard. He's as close to celebrity as any of these other celebrities we've had on here, man. I tell you what, they hadn't figured me out, and I'm just shanghaiing all these really cool people in here, and they have no idea that I'm just a yokel local, right? Oh, I just surprised you all as well.
We had no idea.
No. We're getting out. Yeah, I say that because we're getting out there. I say we're forming the Knives Templars Nation now, because I'm starting to get tons of feedback through emails and instant messages and DMs, and our listenership has shot up. The dogs now bark whenever we're on the air. I mean, dogs love us, cats love us. I mean, it's wonderful. Don't worry about that dog, Luke. He was screaming for me. I could hear it. Chip, 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 chip.
Promise it was a cat. I guarantee you.
Was it? Well, I got one. What does a hair-lipped dog say?
Enlighten me.
Come on, Mark. You can help us with this. What does a hair-lipped dog say?
Hair-lipped dog?
Yeah, I don't know what you.
Mark.
I should know it.
Mark. I'm sorry. That's church humor there. You can tell that to your minister on this next Sunday when you go. In addition to that, we're going to have some questions and listener feedback. We're going to have do-it-yourself knife vices. You know, those knife vices are expensive things. You go out there and you go to get a knife vice. Say that 3 times fast. It's a tube of steel it's threaded, or it's got a couple nuts welded onto it, and it's painted up nice and pretty. And my goodness, that's the diamond in knife making. That's what you should be making. So we're going to give some do-it-yourself ideas on that. And also, you guys that are out there doing photos and videos of your knives and the things that you do around the community, wanted to give you some of our feedback and instruction on what we do. I know Odacir is a great photographer. Some of the other guys here do a really good job with your photography, and I'm getting into some budding photography and also video. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then the week ahead, and then the closing, the after show. So I tell you what, guys, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll get started. We'll be right back. Hey guys, what was your source of inspiration when you first decided to make knives? Many go to the books and also some go to the web, but many also head to YouTube for videos. Well, we are fortunate enough to have Erick Rivers from the Rivers Experience as a co-host on the Knives Templars. But you know what? He's also a sponsor, and I tell you, 27,000 followers can't be wrong in following his skilled and educational regular videos that teach the fine arts of making beautiful knives. I know because I'm a subscriber to his channel and I learned at my pace and without making those mistakes by walking in the dark regarding knife making. Be sure and check out his channel, The Rivers Experience, on YouTube or his website at theriversexperience.com. And now back to our show. All right, well, welcome back. And I tell you what, we've got an exciting show tonight. And as we get started, I always like to go into the news. Marc, you ready for some news?
I'm ready for some news, Chip.
You had any exciting stuff come on down your way this past week or so with any exciting news?
I don't think recently. I know the most recent thing that I was talking to a lot of folks about is the concealed carry, law in Alabama here. That's
right.
Basically, you don't need a permit, right? And so a lot of discussion on that, if that was a good thing or not. I like the idea of folks having a little bit of education and training on when that should be used, and not just anybody using it, but
Well, I'll tell you, so concealed carry, and that also affects the fact that it applies to Bowie knives now, which are no longer
That's right.
Regulated as they were. But I will tell you, I don't mind concealed carry because if you are wanting to protect yourself or your family, concealing your gun just makes you the first target. Or excuse me, carrying your gun openly just makes you the first target in a crazy world we live in. But every father should have, or there's a plethora of gun safety classes and things out there. And I always encourage people to take those because, when you go out to the range and you see people shooting, sometimes you kind of question, did they teach themselves? And I don't like to make fun of people, but, sometimes I've left the range just because I was uncomfortable with the way people were handling their own guns.
I like making fun of people.
Well, Odacir, would you like to jump into what eating nails and crapping barbed wire about gun control?
Yeah, we can do that.
Go for it, man.
Do it.
Yeah, one of the things that happens that it kind of bothers me sometimes is when people online mostly will ask you, "Oh, how much for that knife?" You give them a price, and they completely ghost you.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, you took the time to ask me for the price. How much is for that particular piece? I gave you an answer. Now, a polite reply would be, "Hey, man, it's a little bit too much for me. Thank you very much." Right? Don't just go poof, you gone. I'm thinking, okay, what the hell happened? Did this guy even get my message? But then you look on the messages, you get the receipt, right? You can see that the person saw your reply. So it's kind of iffy, don't do that. I mean, just come up and say, "Hey, can we negotiate?" Or, "Is a little too much for my budget right now. Let's sit on it. Let me think about it." Right? Don't just ghost somebody. It ain't nice.
You know, I asked a guy this past week, and he actually told me to tell Josh hello when I come up there. How much for those tire hammers that you're making down there outside of Montgomery, Alabama? You know what I'm talking about, Josh?
Oh yeah, Raymond Head.
Yes, sir. And he's in Wetumpka, I believe. And
yes, sir. He's in Wetumpka.
Yeah, and I said how much, and he gave me a price, and I did not ghost him. I know I don't have that money today, but I'm already putting it away to get one of those nice. He's on like machine 184 right now, so I'm hopefully before he gets to machine 200, maybe I can get machine 200 out of him or something. So he's making about one a week.
I tell you what, those are great, phenomenal hammers. I mean, that bang for the buck. That's the best power hammer you could ever possibly buy.
I've seen. And what's this guy's name?
Yeah,
Raymond Head. He's building tire hammers off of the Clay Spencer designs.
Okay, Raymond Head.
How much is it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I would say I would contact him. I will tell you off the show, but because materials and things change from time to time. But we'll put in the show notes, and I can also get you in touch with him. But let's just say,
just out of curiosity, right now I don't have a place where I can own a power hammer.
Well, if I just say they were less than $4,000 today,
okay,
that would put you in the ballpark of where they're at. But those are just like our knives and everything, all that subject to change based on when you get one. But
okay.
hey,
curiosity. Eventually I want to get to a point where I'm out of the shed and into a proper shop, and then maybe get a power hammer or a press,
right,
and take it from there. But right now it's just curiosity, budget.
So I did not ghost him, and I told him that I would be there. So but the thing is, Odacir, you make such beautiful knives, and it draws people in. You're going to get ghosted quite a bit.
This hammer comes with the optional drawing dies attached to it.
4140. I was looking them up, and it was on play. I didn't. It started playing. I was like, "Hey, what's that noise?"
You already had first optional drawing dies.
Well, Marc was
right.
Marc was getting us. I thought he's got a camera. He's listening to us from somewhere.
Yeah,
well,
no. This is a nice product. I'm looking it up on Facebook.
Excited. You're so excited. You're screaming in the microphone right now.
That's right. I didn't want to wait. I couldn't wait.
Settle down. Back up. Talk quietly. There you go. But yes, we will get everybody in touch. A way to get in touch with him, and maybe let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. Josh, you don't have one, do you?
You don't tire hammer? No,
you don't need one.
I've had a few of them though.
You've got the big dog of hammers right now.
Yeah,
so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll get me. Okay, I've got his next 6 sold, and then I'll have to work on the next 10 so I get number 200. But Odacir, with the knives that you make, they're beautiful knives, and you're probably going to get ghosted quite a bit because people don't necessarily understand what goes into what you're doing. And when they go to Cabela's and they can get that for $125, they don't realize they really can't get that for $125 because there's a big difference in the two.
Yeah. No, I understand that. It's just that, you took the time to ask, and because you were interested in the piece,
right.
Mm-hmm. I gave you a price. Okay, you can say, yo, man, why is it that price, right? Just, have a back and forth, a little dialogue.
Yeah.
And,
you hurt their feelings, Tom. You hurt their feelings, Odacir. Yeah.
Yeah, we call them looky-loos.
Yeah.
Looky-loos.
All right, well, let me get back. Go ahead, Joey.
Or be-backs.
I was just saying, I share your frustration, Odie. Like Don said, they're just looking and passing on through, and once you give them that price, and they obviously know, okay, yeah, that's not in my price range. They just kind of move on, instead of having a dialogue with you and saying, hey, would you negotiate or not? Those guys just kind of just move on.
See, my big negotiating point is not that I can't afford the hammer. I could go buy the tire hammer today. The issue with me is convincing my wife that I'm going to turn another bay of the 3-car garage into a forging zone, and then hopefully she would say build a damn shop out back. But I don't know if we're quite there yet. We are talking about me building a shop before I retire, making sure I've got one. So maybe that may help push it over the edge. But
Now
as you know, go ahead.
Yeah, talking about the hammer thing, I have a question here. If anybody can answer that, or maybe Josh can have a better answer. Between a hammer and a press, which one would you use the most? I mean, when I took my classes, my teacher said, "Don't bother with a hammer. Go straight for a press, especially if you live in a place where there's people around, sort of neighborhood kind of deal, and you're gonna be having that thing going pop, 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 instead of constant whining noise from a press, which is with not that loud. So I mean, I don't know. Coming from Josh, that I was going through your Instagram account, and I see you do some Damascus there, a lot of Damascus. What is your preference there, press versus hammer?
I'm a little biased, but I'm going to recommend a hammer, hands down. Reason being, a hammer can do everything that a press can, and it's going to do it faster. Tools are tools. We have to learn our tools. Presses can be a little easier to get a desired result, but you can do that with a hammer also. I'm just spitballing here, but like splitting feather Damascus, it would be a little tricky to do with a power hammer, but it's very doable and a lot more efficient than a press, because a press is going to suck heat out very fast.
Is that because of the contact time?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot slower. A hammer will actually put heat back into what you're working on. Heat. So, plus, power hammers are cooler. So,
especially yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little bit later for sure. But Odacir, I think I've always been a person that bought. It's a good question you asked, because I've always been a person that on occasion would buy what I could afford or where I could go, and I ended up, in a very short order, buying up very quickly to what I really needed down the road, when I wasted money on the first item or two that I bought trying to get there. So yeah, I think it's always best to buy what you're going to ultimately need and go from there. So the news. I took the long way around the news. Don said everybody's crazy in Florida on the last one, so nothing's changed there, Don?
No, nothing changed.
Everybody's still crazy in Florida?
Florida man.
That's right. Florida man, baby.
Everybody's still crazy in Louisiana, Joey? Or they're getting ready to get crazy, I guess.
They fixing and getting ready to get crazy.
All right.
It's Mardi Gras.
Otis, I'm not even going to ask about Washington, D.C. It's just crazy all the time there. So
yeah, nation's capital, everything, and everybody comes here eventually.
Everybody brings all the crazy in the States there. So on our news tonight, let me ask you something. How many of you guys are outdoorsmen? Raise your hand, just a quick hand here.
Yeah.
Looks like everybody here is an outdoorsman. And I would say a lot of knife makers are outdoorsmen at heart. So you may understand this. Anybody here ever spend more than a day in the forest? Raise your hand.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of backpacking and still plan to do a lot of backpacking. But they've been seeing a resurgent since after COVID, especially in Colorado, where they do a lot of backpacking out there, of TP flowers blooming all over the trails. And Odacir, you know what a TP flower is?
I do not.
They're white and kind of have a brown center to them. When they bloom.
I'm not.
Yeah. You're still not.
You picture there, but I don't know.
Yeah. So if you camped out all night in the forest and you wiped your hiney, say hiney for me, Don, like you did on that thing.
I got the picture.
Hiney. If you wiped your hiney and you threw the paper down, all of a sudden on the trails out in Colorado, they've got TP flowers blooming everywhere this time of year, and it's really not the ones you want to walk through or lay down in, have a picnic amongst. The bees don't like them. It's not good.
He's got to smell the roses.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you the fact that we've got so many outdoorsmen here, and guys, I've got a resume that's 3 miles long, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm not. This one I've talked about before. This isn't adding on. Volunteer Wilderness Ranger Chip Carlisle. You ever been down in the Sipsey, Josh?
No, sir, I have not.
You've been in Bankhead, though.
Oh yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Bankhead.
Oh yeah, so I was a member of the ranger group out there, working with the rangers with the USDA, as well as a volunteer hippie group I was with out there. I left the hippie group, trust me. That's a whole nother podcast. But anyway, a whole nother podcast subject matters. Not even would fit in ours in another episode. But anyway, as part of the hippie rangers, we learned leave no trace. So doing our part as the Knives Templars when you're out there, so that you can cut down on the blooms of teepee flowers. We want to tell you how to take a dump in the woods. You ready, Odacir? You taking notes?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Taking notes.
How would you do it, Odacir? How would you?
That is very private, my friend.
Okay, that's okay. See, I have no privacy. Anybody else here feel like letting it go? Anybody want to release your sphincter and tell us how you would do it? Joey, go for it.
So I got one of those little military, folding shovels. So I'd dig me a little hole there and, pop a squat.
Okay,
and,
all right. Mark, you say, what would you do?
So for me, it's a little bit different. I do a lot of climbing in Colorado, up in the 14er Rockies.
You don't have to carry those swag bags, do you?
So, actually, I went on a trip up to in Wyoming to climb the Grand Teton, and required packing is to bring a little bag with you, and so pack in, pack out everything. So because it just doesn't break down up there. So
how easy is it to crap in a Ziploc bag?
Let me shake your hand afterwards, and I'll tell you.
I don't think so. Well, so there are. If you go down into canyons and stuff, they carry ammo cans in some places, and people all crap in the ammo can. And in some places, they call them swag bags, and you have to carry your swag bag along the trail and poop in the Ziplocs and put them in your box and carry them back out. I'm just not going to any of those places. Don't invite me.
Yeah, nah. I'm more with Joey here. Okay, it's biodegradable. Right, just leave it in there.
All right. So
like the catch, dig a little hole and leave it in there.
So general leave no trace. Here we go, guys. You want to find an appropriate place at least 200 feet from water sources, trails, or campsites. And the reason you want to do that is because while in this day and age we don't have to filter water for viruses in the United States for the most part. But like in India, or China, I would purify water there. Here out of a stream, I would just filter the water, and with a good gravity filter, 99.999 and some sevens, clear, and it'd be great to drink. But what people are passing into the water system may get into a creek and run down to a water table. You don't want to be filtering that because you may not get all of that out. Who wants to be drinking out of Odacir's sphincter? So.
Why me?
Or Luke's sphincter. I don't want to drink out of anybody's sphincter. So you want to be at least 200 feet from water sources. And while you're out there, guys, make sure you're watching out for snakes.
And bears.
And lions.
Yeah.
And Sasquatches.
It would be a bad day. You're there and then a bear jumps on you.
Well, I just want you to know if a rattlesnake bites you on the rear end, you're dying.
While in the moment?
Oh, yeah, in the moment of that
bear.
big release.
I think a bear would be worse than a
Well, Joey, tell them about the trowel. You got the trowel part down. Go ahead and tell them about the trowel.
What? I'm sorry.
The little shovel. The shovel.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What? You want me to explain how it's done? Okay.
Yeah, I'm having a coughing fit here from my cold. Explain it.
I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
you dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
46 inches deep, Joey. 46 inches deep.
Oh, okay.
And in diameter, because you don't want to poop down a tube. You need to poop down a hole.
Man, you laying down some logs.
Nah, he just doesn't have the accuracy.
Snapping the yam, baby.
For you guys that are, they're doing laughter for me because I'm having a coughing fit here right now, having to go on mute. Well, I believe in Bigfoot, so. And when finished, you want to fill that hole with the dirt that you dug out and disguise it. Maybe decorate it with some rocks and some leaves and make it look very natural.
On that note, where does Bigfoot goes?
I'm not worried about where Bigfoot goes.
Yeah, he's just living it all over the place, I guess.
Well, where does a bear poop in the woods?
Yeah.
Right on the trail, because bears walk trails. But then you want to make sure you cover up your TP, so no flower blooms. And you want to also cover up your waste and let it biodegrade right there. So that is it. But there's some distinct methods. Don, what do you think?
Whatever you do, if you're going to do that and you live in Florida, probably Louisiana, you do not use the moss. Do not use moss. You gotta have your TP with you, baby.
Yes.
I promise you'll hate it.
Exactly what Mark said. Chiggers.
Yep.
What is it? What did the bear say to the rabbit? Bear looked down at a little white rabbit, and said, "Do you get poo on yourself when you wipe or something like that?" And the rabbit said no, or something like that. So the bear picked up the rabbit, and wiped himself with him.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is sometimes you forget TP. Now, I've done walked out of the woods with half a shirt. I'm just saying.
I walked off.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I came off the lake with half a shirt before too. You know how
socks are pretty good too.
Yeah. So there's some.
Yeah, I left my underwear in there once.
There's a
use the knife, split it open.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
Freestyle, man.
So that's when it'd be nice to have a butter knife because you don't want to use your sharp knife to clean yourself. So, but what I'll say is that being a competitive fisherman, I also know the right way because you can't get off of your boat when you're in the middle of a tournament. So you always bring a bungee cord and you pull your steering wheel. So you turn that motor over, left or right just perfectly. Put that bungee cord over there and lock that wheel down so you don't fall in the water into the toilet, so to speak. And you pull down your pants and you hike one cheek up on the side of that boat motor and try not to mess up the side of your motor. I was out on the Great Lakes one time with a guy who had, let's just say he had an explosive moment. I made him clean my boat motor before we got back.
I hope you had a washdown kit.
That's when you wishing you had a good wax job on the boat the day before. But
I always had a clean boat, but I told you what, I was like, you're cleaning that off. You were cleaning that off. But hey, here's the methods. You tell me what you think would be your favorite. The squat. I saw a lot of this when I was in China because I always wondered, you bend down like that, and it's just like your knees would hurt. But when I went to China, everybody, when they sat like in groups of people on the streets, they'll sit there in a squatted position just talking.
Afghanistan, the same thing.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting how they do that. And so you can place your feet apart, find a good balance, pull your pants down to your knees, and obtain a bottom out low squat. Bottom out low squat, because if your bottom's in, you got to watch your pants. Use your hand to pull your pants forward and keep them out of the line of fire. That is the squat method. Then there is the throne for you people that are a little royalty. Yeah. And that's look for a tree with a slight hill and go to the uphill facing side so that everything runs away from you. Plant your feet firmly in place, press your back against the tree. Your thighs should be exactly parallel to the ground. The throne. I did that on a giant boulder one time and my thighs got to burning, and it wasn't like a 20-seconder. And I was having
20 seconds.
All I'm saying is if you're going to be there a while, you need to have good leg muscles.
What did you put in that tea, Chip?
Gotta find some handles.
Oh, I just got lemon and honey. Why?
I'm just curious. No, you're good.
I'm thinking he dropped some gummies in there. Or something.
Hey guys, what I want to tell you:
that psychedelic honey.
Do not get pepperoni pizza MREs when you're out on the trail. That can make for some bad leg burns leaning up against the rock. I'm putting the whole story together there. Not a good. You military guys, Mark, you ever had the pepperoni pizza MRE?
I have not, but I've tried many of them, and I think they have the same effect.
Yeah, it's like eating Play-Doh and trying to pass it later. So then there is the assist. The assist is actually one of my preferred methods because you don't have to worry about your balance as you get older, nor do you have to worry about your leg strength. The assist is where you look for a fallen log or a tree stump or basically anything you can sit down and scoot back over it and hang your rear end off it as far as you can and then go for it. But you got to be able to lock your heels in because you don't want to lose it and slip back and then, well.
That's why you need a handle. Find a tree with some branches on the side you can hold on to.
Good little center of gravity.
A good purchase.
And if I had to choose any whatsoever, Josh, did you know what you're getting yourself into tonight?
He did not, I'm sure.
I'm thinking about to talk about Josh is like, what in the world?
Yeah, this is a knife podcast,
guys,
right? I mean, is that what you're saying?
Guys, listen, this is the news. This is something. We're outdoorsmen, TP Flowers, and we're just
it's a part of outdoorsing.
Yeah, public announcement.
Then you guys that are out there pooping in the woods, I want you to DM us and let us know what method you choose and how it went. Drop us a line, send us an email at knivestemplars@yahoo.com, or hit us at the Knives Templar podcast and let us know what worked for you. The last part really is truly my favorite. I've never had trouble with this, the tripod. Ooh. Find a tree with a fairly slender yet sturdy trunk, one you can get your hands around really good. Grab it and hold on and lean back into a squat, and your feet should be near the base of that tree with your rear end stuck out. That will keep you out of the line of fire. Tends to be the most comfortable, but I will tell you, make sure it's a sturdy tree, because if you get a sapling and it snaps, it's not going to be a good day. You're going to walk back to camp. People are going to be laughing at you.
Yep.
Guys, I would like to say that's the Knife Templars doing our part to keep America clean.
Yes.
All right.
Spread awareness. Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. That's all the news we've got, and we will take a break. And when we return, we are going to go into Pop's Maker's Mark with Josh Howard, if he's still around.
Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago and is owned by 4 professional knife makers. Andy Roy of Fiddleback Forge, Alan Searles of W.A. Searles Knives, Joey Berry of J.B. Knife Works, and Dirk Lutz of Dirk Lutz Knives make a great team of owners carrying on the traditions and business started by James Poplin. Over 4 decades in business is a testament to the best customer service with same-day shipping on weekdays. Pops only charges actual shipping, and any shipping differences are refunded on your orders. Everything you need to make knives, from grinding, steel, pin stock, heat treating, and more, can be found at Pops. Visit them at popsknife.supplies. And now, back to the show.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. We're going to jump into the Maker's Mark, and I am so excited that Josh Howard, who's been contributing on the show already, we don't typically bring the Maker's Mark co-host in, and he's already done a good job. So I'm not even going to wait till the end, guys. Let's go ahead and do our vote, and that way he gets nice and comfortable. If he gets in, remember, guys, he's got a big hammer and he's got some credentials.
He can cook a whole hog. Oh.
All right, you ready? You ready? All right, JW, is he a co-host?
Yeah, man.
Luke?
Bring it on.
Odacir?
Yeah, man.
Don?
Oh, yeah.
And Mark?
He's in. I'm good.
I was like, how do you follow up to, oh, yeah?
I know. How do you feel about that?
I got you. Josh, welcome. You are an honorary Knives Templars, which means you get all the rights and privileges, and you can come on at any time. You just have to let us know you're coming, and we'll pull up a seat for you. But welcome to the Maker's Mark. It is very exciting to have you here. How are you doing this evening?
Well, I appreciate y'all for letting me in here. I'm doing great. How about y'all?
Oh, I can tell we've got through plenty of subjects tonight.
Yeah, he got a taste of how we're doing.
Yeah, you got to shake it up a little bit and talk about a little poop and this, that, and the other. But so you are from Athens, Alabama, and
I'm close to Athens. I live in Rogersville, Alabama.
Oh, okay, Rogersville, and how far is Rogersville from Athens?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I've seen it on the map, but I have not been there. And for you guys that don't know, I discovered that Josh lives about 50 minutes above me here on the other side of the Tennessee River. But Josh comes with us with some nice credentials. He is a part of the Alabama Forge Council. He's an American Bladesmith Society member. He's a Season 6, Episode 27 Forged in Fire contestant. He owns DeerlickRidgeForge.com, and I think you can also get there to DeerlickForge.com as well. Is that right, Josh?
That's correct.
Good deal. And makes some of the most beautiful knives. One thing I noticed on his website was a big, big machine. Tell me the distinction of that hammer that you've got.
So that hammer that Chip is referring to is my prized possession. It is a Chambersburg CH5, so it's considered a 500-pound hammer. The thing actually weighs about 28,000 pounds. So she's sitting on 8 foot of concrete. It was made in 1944. It was owned by the U.S. Navy. It used to build battleships. Wow. Now it makes knives.
Nice.
And now, as far as size of hammers, is that pretty much top of the line? Do they make bigger ones than that, or is that
that's not the biggest hammer that they make? I do know that it's one of the largest running power hammers in the Southeast.
Right.
I know that the New England School of Blacksmithing, they have a 3,000-pound Chambersburg actually, but that's a whole different monster. This is a self-contained. Meaning, it makes its own air supply. It's just it's a really great hammer. I really love it. I'm very fortunate to own it.
Did you rebuild it from a non-working condition up to where it is now?
So I bought it sight unseen. I did have to repair some of the seals and the guides and a few of the bearings, and it's just a well-run machine right now.
Do you have any trouble making friends amongst blacksmiths?
Oh, no. No, everybody likes coming to my shop.
It was kind of like
Chip stalking you.
No, not quite. I haven't.
I'm going through your Instagram here. That thing is a monster, man.
Yeah, it's nice.
Godzilla of hammers right there.
Yeah, it stands up a little over 10 foot tall. It's 11 foot long, a couple foot wide. Like I said, it weighs 28,000 pounds.
Now, were you saying that the foundation that's sitting on the 8 feet, is that in width or is that depth?
That's depth, sitting on 8 foot deep of concrete. The anvil for that thing weighs 9,000 pounds.
My goodness.
Wow.
My goodness.
Okay.
Well, what got you, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but what got you to looking for and finding such a thing and saying, hey, I can do this? Tell us about your story.
So I was starting out. I'm one of the Forged and Fire TV guys. I've been a melter worker all my life. Never once thought about making knives until I seen my first episode of Forged in Fire on March 27, 2017. I had a forge built and a knife made March 28, 2017. I've been at it ever since. That's a little bit of my story.
Nice.
Now, do you when you do steel and you do a lot of Damascus, do you also buy stock material and just do stock removal knives, or are you taking it from forge to finish?
I pretty much forge everything. Here lately, I've been getting into pocket knives. So these are not forged. These are, stock removal method. But other than that, I pretty much forge everything.
I forged my second knife a couple weeks ago, and I will tell you that I'm going to forge the next 10 or 15 knives from steel, whatever scrap I've got, mostly leaf springs and stuff. So it's a good start, I think, for somebody new to doing that. But just to making that second knife, I've learned from the first knife, I realized all the mistakes in making it harder, that I'm just going to keep doing it, because there is, like Erick has said, it doesn't matter if you grind out a knife from stock or you forge a knife or assemble a knife, you've made a knife. But there's such a sense of accomplishment when you have taken that steel and beat it to the level that you need to make what you want. And I would assume you're actually producing your steel, producing your layers of steel, and then going in and putting all that together, and another level of craftsmanship that all goes into that. Because I think did you say you're making feather Damascus when we were talking offline?
Yeah, that's I'm working on some feather Damascus right now. I do make all my own Damascus. I've never bought any. That in itself is probably my favorite part of making knife, is just making the Damascus. If I could, I love making knives, but I really love making steel. That's my sickness. It's like methamphetamine.
What do you do? What do you do with the Damascus that you're making?
It really is.
If you're not making a knife, what are you doing with it?
No, that's all I do. I make knives with it.
Okay.
I don't do anything. Go ahead, Odacir.
Yeah, what is the steel composition used for a Damascus? Like a 1095, 15 and 20, Odacir 2, 15 and 20. What's the
It's my turn. I got this one. So he placed an order yesterday, of which I packed. And it's looking like he's going to be using some 80 CRV2 and 15 and 20 here soon.
Okay.
That's my favorite combo, is 80 CRV2 and 15 and 20. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Unless I'm doing powdered steel. If I'm doing powder.
Do you sell just your billets, or you just make the knives and sell the knives themselves? I mean,
I've sold a bunch of billets.
Since I'm not able to make my own Damascus at the moment, I would be interested in getting some billets. Do you do custom orders and stuff like that, or?
Yes, sir. I do custom orders for steel. Be happy to get you in.
Yep. All right.
Well, if you do that kind of work, Josh, is it people just can contact you through your website for some type of custom steel work that they're looking for, whether it's a billet or something else?
Yes, sir. Correct. They can hit me up on my website, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of them.
Yeah. Well, how did you get on Forged in Fire? Tell us about that experience.
Okay, I have the best how I got on Forged in Fire story that has ever been done. So, a lot of you know, some of you may not, but to get on Forged in Fire, when they first started, they had these casting producers that would seek out people to be on the show. Well, they've pretty much found everybody that they could, so now they're asking for people to be on the show. I'm sure you've seen, if you're on any of the knife making pages, they have, like I said, these casting producers, they'll send out these flyers that say, hey, if you want to be on the show, send an email here.
Right.
So that's what I did. I seen the flyer that one of those producers put up, and I typed up this big extravagant email about why I wanted to be on the show, and why I thought I would be a good candidate, and yada 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 yada. Made it look real professional, real serious, and I titled the email "I Want a Shot." I pressed the send button. After I pressed the send button, and forgive me, I know this is a family friendly show, but after I pressed the send button, I seen that my autocorrect changed "I want a shot" to "I want a shit." And I flew off into a rage because I just blew my one and only chance of ever getting on national television. And I threw my phone, and when I finally calmed down and come to, I went and found my phone and had a missed call from this producer who left me a voicemail of him laughing that said, "Call me." So that's how I got on TV, was autocorrect.
Oh, but darn.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Hey man, as long as it works.
Cool story.
As long
Given
as
how
it
this
works.
podcast started, that's a great.
It is full circle.
Yeah.
Well, with did you tell him if you? Well, let's just not even go with leave no trace. It's just not even going to make the connection. So, tell us about the experience and being on the show and what you had to do while you were there and so on. What did you think?
Oh, it was a ton of fun. We ended up flying up there, and
Is that to New York?
Well, we flew into New York. We flew into LaGuardia. The show itself is filmed in Connecticut, so we took a little 30-minute car ride to Stamford, Connecticut, and that's where it's filmed at. And the show went really good. Had a good round. I didn't win. I got knocked out in round 2. If any of you listeners are avid followers of the show, I'm the guy that set the barber chair on fire. So that was me. We had to make a knife out of a barbershop chair, scissors, razor blades, and hair clippers. And we had to harvest the canister material from the barber chair. And there was just no real good way to get that canister material out. So I just grabbed a torch and started sawing it with a torch, and up in flames it went.
That's awesome.
They did not like that.
Was that inside the building?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
and
the smell. That's the smell. It was. Oh, I can smell it right now. It was terrible because it was a vintage barbershop chair, and there was all this hair stuck in it. Oh man, it was
bad. Wow. So if you went out after that particular round, you didn't start screaming shenanigans because they were just upset because you made it smell a little bad or something.
I've never thought about that. That might be why I didn't win.
Yeah. But it's still kind of a neat class to be from, of people that have participated in that show and what it's done to create knife makers. I will say that I've always wanted to get into knife making with the things I've done, and that shows kind of what pushed me over the edge. And someone talking to me about knife making one time, and I was like, well, let me see. I think I can do this. So you're actually you can say, well, a lot of people really saturated the market with knives. And how do you feel about that? Do you think, being a guy that's done this for a while, do you think that the knife market's been saturated by a bunch of people that aren't making good knives? Or do you think go ahead.
I think it has been saturated, but I think that it also created this market. I was listening to one of y'all's podcasts the other day, and somebody said that,
there's our one listener, guys. There he is.
That's me.
Found him.
Welcome aboard.
6 years ago, the majority of the public didn't know what Damascus steel was. Now everybody knows what Damascus steel was, and that's thankful to that show. I don't knock the show at all. I know a lot of people do. I got my start from the show. I wouldn't be where I was at today if it wasn't for the show. I love everything about it. Those of you that don't, kick rocks. But
I'll tell you what, now everybody, you said they didn't know what Damascus was. Now you've got your average guy walking around in his eyes going, that's not true Damascus.
Yeah.
It looks like Damascus, but it's not. It's not how they made it. Anyway, so you belong.
Damascus.
What's that, Odacir?
D2 Damascus.
Yeah, D2 high carbon stainless.
Yeah, D2 high carbon stainless Damascus. Huh?
So, you belong to the Alabama Forge Council. I assume you've belonged to that for quite a while.
Yeah, I started 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago in 2017, and I immediately found that group, just off a Google search, and it's 20 minutes from my house. So I was very lucky to have a group, and the listeners, if you're wanting to get into knife making, look up your state's local forge council, because almost every state has one, and you might get lucky like I did and have one close by. They're great avenues to learn and make acquaintances and, just grow in the craft.
Well, I don't want them to scare you off and saying, hey, ship stalking you yet, because stalking is what I do best. And really I think a lot of us do that when there's a quest for knowledge, and that's a great avenue when there's a quest for knowledge. I won't be setting out by your mailbox when you're leaving in the morning, Josh. You don't have to worry about that, but I do plan on attending one of your Forge Council meetings and seeing if it's a place I may land that may continue to help me grow in my skill and also help promote what they do as well through the voice that we have here. We're always looking for those opportunities because it's very important from our perspective is to continue to grow the stewardship and the community of people. And you said, like Forged in Fire, what did it do? It brought it to the forefront. And I wanted to add in there, I didn't want to forget it, that the cream always rises to the top when you're getting the milk out of the cow. When you're milking a cow and you get that cream that rises to the top, you see, the best of the best. And we'd see a lot of that in knife making. I have people that email me pictures of knives they're making because of the podcast and through our Facebook community that we've got, things that they're posting out there. And this is some of the most beautiful, functional art I've ever seen in my life. And a lot of times you find out these are guys that have been making for 4 or 5 years. And what do they have is they have that innate ability to create. And, I'm not ever going to knock a guy that makes a knife like my first knife looked, and that's all that he wants to do. That's just fine. But if someone is quite creative and knows how to build that into it, I think that's what Forged and Fire and all these other, type of avenues have done, is bringing out the creativity in people, that, what am I doing, Mark? Is that funny?
All right. I will enlighten all of you.
All right. Before you enlighten us, let me just say this, that the cream rises to the top, and these shows and things that we've had have brought people forward. Even you, Josh, the show's brought you forward and let people see your work. So, Luke, what's so damn funny?
So we all just got sent a photo in the Knives Templars group chat, and it is a disposable toilet to go.
Ooh.
So if there's a product that you want to take backpacking in the woods, ever need that disposable toilet, let me zoom in on the picture here. Ooh, it's got a wide opening.
I'm gonna see what this looks like. Knives Templars chat, disposable
it's a spill-proof bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even has antimicrobial wipes.
You know what? I y'all know I used to have a long beard, and one of these days I'll get it back again. I just can't have it right now. What would my buddy over in Monroe, Louisiana, have to say about that? Who's in Monroe, Louisiana? Come on, guys! You got duck hunters in this group.
Duck Dynasty, I think, is out there.
Oh, okay, we're getting close. Who's the patriarch of that crew?
Oh,
Phil. What would Phil say about that little package bag to poop in? That yucky.
Don't waste your money.
Yuppie crap. He'd say it's yuppie crap.
Yeah,
just
quit yuppie.
Yeah, just hang it over the boat and go.
Yep.
Who sent that? Who looked that up? That's a shame.
No, that is what they gave us up at climbing the Grand Tetons. If you work with a guide company.
Disposable.
Climbing the what?
The Grand Teton up in Wyoming.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Yeah, well, it's named after that.
So is the name of this episode going to be Disposable Toilet to Go?
It could be.
Yeah.
Or the Grand Tetons.
Well, we will see. So, sorry, our poo-poo humor there, Josh. Just
yeah, I derailed it. It's my fault.
No, it's all good. It's all good stuff. So, with the forging, what are some of the things that you guys do in the communities and such that makes you stand out? And I know you're just not standing around learning stuff from each other. I'm sure you get out in the communities.
I don't really know. We don't really do much with the community other than, just invite people, to our meetings. Anybody's welcome.
No, you're wrong. We just do stand around and watch each other beat stuff.
Basically, yeah.
What Josh is saying, they're a club, man. Really.
Yeah.
Y'all learn from each other.
Yep.
You have a technique. You share the technique with the guys that's there. So that's
exactly
a club, really. And that's what it should be, helping each other out. So,
other than sitting around standing, y'all are going down to the to Birmingham, and that's going to be the last weekend in March or so. What is that event?
Yeah, it's the Batson Bladesmithing Symposium. It's hosted by Dr. James Batson. He's a master smith. He's PhD in metallurgy. I think he did some stuff with NASA once upon a time.
Yeah, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
He actually is.
Yeah.
So when you guys aren't standing around watching each other hammer metal, you're going to events like that or traveling down to South Alabama and using your skills to, like at the Battleship Challenge that y'all had down there doing the knife making and such.
Yep.
There you go. Those are the things you do in the community. You're a poet and you didn't know it.
So this show at Batson that he's talking about, it's actually my favorite show to go to. I mean, Blade Show is an amazing experience, but if you want to see like hands-on with amazing makers, that's my favorite place to go. There's so many well-known makers that do different classes there. Josh, like I said previously, made some amazing barbecue for the group. And it's 2 days, right, Josh?
It's actually 4 days. It starts on starts on Thursday and it ends on Sunday.
Okay.
So you said it's your favorite place. You said it's your favorite place to go, right?
It's my favorite knife event of sort.
Oh, I thought you meant your favorite place to go was in. I was going to ask you to use the bag like we saw, or you just digging a hole or what? Because you said you barbecue.
We have civilized bathrooms there.
Well, tell me about this barbecue you make, because you know what? We've touched on a lot of topics tonight. So what is the secret to Josh Howard's barbecue without giving it all away?
I can't tell you that.
Man, oh man.
I always do whole hogs whenever we do this Batson event. Mm-hmm. And I actually did one at Pop's Knife Supply last year. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. But,
one of our guild meetings, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Did you build your barbecue?
Yeah. And actually, before I made knives, I used to build smokers. So that's
nice.
I like building smokers too.
Yeah. I lived in North Carolina and grew up on North Carolina chopped vinegar barbecue and slaw. And before you just turn off and leave the show because I said that, when I got to Alabama and I discovered pulled pork and red sauce, I don't even care about the chickens. My family in North Carolina has disowned me because I swore off North Carolina barbecue after that. I have been told that I make some of the best barbecue around, and I don't mind sharing my secret. But you have to share yours first.
Oh, that's how
I like you, Chip. That's a hard pass.
I hear you. I've got my uncle's North Carolina barbecue sauce and rub recipe, but so that's a family secret. But yeah, with me, it's pretty much I just I brine them and then I rub the butts down in mustard, and then I've got my seasonings that I like and I put them on there. And a couple hours before I pull them off, I start spraying them with my secret sauce is Cheerwine, which is a soft drink, a soda from North Carolina. You get the cane sugar Cheerwine that puts a real nice bark on the outside, and people tend to like it. It's got kind of a cherry flavoring to it. But I'm sure you'd beat me, but I've never had a problem getting rid of barbecue. But I could also say in North Alabama, you really never have a problem getting rid of barbecue anywhere, though, do you?
No, not at all.
No. Well, that's good. Well, where can people find you out on the internet and take a look at your knives and everything that you do?
My website, deerlickridgeforge.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. TikTok is my big social media thing. I think I've got 50-something thousand followers on TikTok. I'm all under deerlickforge.com.
Good deal. Good deal. Are you familiar with Last Blade Standing?
Yeah, I was actually in Last Blade Standing this year, but unfortunately, due to the time that it was around Christmas, I was just so swamped with orders. There was no way I could get it done, so I had to unfortunately drop out. But I'm good friends with Matthew Martin that runs the
good
thing.
Guy. You think you'll be getting into another? Will you get into another one with them?
Yeah. As long as he doesn't do it on Christmas again, then yeah.
Yeah, he was a great guest to have on the last show. Matter of fact, let's talk a little bit about Matthew and his group, Last Blade Standing. We'll be right back.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Last Blade Standing. Now in its third season, Last Blade Standing will feature the work of 64 bladesmiths from across the United States. In this season's 90-day short sword challenge, the bladesmiths include 10 Forged in Fire champions and both returning Last Blade Standing champions. The competition features special guests Ben Abbott, Forged in Fire Super Champion, as a competitor, and David Baker, Forged in Fire Judge, as the lead judge for this season. Join us for the live finale in Salisbury, North Carolina on February 25th, 2023. General admission tickets are available now at tickets.lastbladestanding.com. Last Blade Standing Season 3 is sponsored in part by Broadbeck Ironworks, Red Label Abrasives, All Nine Metals, Maker Material Supply, and Steel Stamps Incorporated. Get ready for Last Blade Standing, the bladesmithing competition.
All right. Well, as we're coming back in, Josh, you are already a member of the Templars. We are glad you're here. If you want to hang out with us, hang out with us. We'd love to have you on the rest of the show, and we'll end up coming together. And I do hope to get to meet you here in the next week or so at your next meeting or next month's meeting. I have to travel up to North Carolina, so I'm not quite sure how that'll work out. But man, you're great, and you're what is important in making this bladesmithing, blacksmithing, and everything that we do, artistic community, great, and giving back and producing artistic and usable tools that people certainly hold close to their hearts when they have them. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for being an Alabama guy. I tell you what, some of my best friends are Alabama guys. So if you will let me hang out with you in the future, I'll send you some references and probably some guys you know.
Sounds good. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, you ready to move into our next topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Well,
do it.
Well, let's jump into a little learning time here. And what I want to talk about, our first topic tonight would be using a tilt table and a platen to grind. And I have one, and we touched on that the last episode. But Don is our resident expert who's got that device now. So, hey, you've produced some nice knives. So go ahead and kick people off on what we're doing now. I don't want to be one-sided here because Ameribraid makes a beautiful tilt platen and an adjustable table that enables us to have these nice table angles where we can just produce these knives. Who's the guy down in Florida?
Yeah, that'd be Housemade.
Housemade.
Housework. I'm sorry.
Brian
Housework.
House.
Yeah, Brian House.
He's got
but,
another beautiful one that's out there, and I know that his tooling will work on a lot of machines. And I'm not sure about everyone else. I haven't really looked in their equipment, but we'll probably start seeing some more of those hit the market. But Don, go ahead and lead us into what you're doing with that.
Well, it's like anything else. Like I told you when I talked to you a while back, it's just something you have to learn to use. It takes finesse, getting it, grinding on it. I found out today that with the one we have, you cannot grind when you tilt your table over to if you want to do 1.5 degrees, 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees, it won't tilt that far. It won't be able to tilt far, and it will tilt, but the problem is you run out of platen and tool rest, and so it won't let you do a full flat grind. I was doing a kitchen knife, and I think I'm gonna try it on here, and I couldn't get it. I run out of the tilt, the table itself. So, but anything from 12 to whatever, all the way down to about 3.5, you can do a really nice grind on it. But
so with those particular tables, what we're talking about here, of course, on the Ameribraid equipment, which we've got, we can speak of, you have the one table arm that you put in, and it's fully adjustable up and down. Don, he actually went in and ground out his table a little bit from the back, and I still have to do mine so he can get a few more degrees out of it when he's bringing it into the belt. But also, how did you go about setting up your platen to your table so that you're able to adjust the degrees? And when you're setting it up, how are you doing the math to get your degrees right?
Well, number one, I took a angle gauge. I got a Wixie box angle gauge, and what I did, I put it and zeroed it out on my tool arm,
right,
and then went straight to my platen, put it on there, and then tilted it back 51 degrees. It gives me a little more angle, so I don't have to go straight up and down vertical to grind the bevel. I can kind of lay it, and then from there, when you want to find your angle for your tool rest or your rest, you zero it out on your platen and then go and put it on your tool rest and then find your angle there and adjust it as you want to go.
So if you want 5, 6, 7 or higher degrees, if you're doing a Scandi grinder, this, that, and the other, you're you're zeroed out on your table, and that's where you adjust the table angle to set your degrees.
Well, first you would zero it out on your platen.
Right,
Once
right,
you
right.
got
I'm
your
sorry.
platen,
Thanks for
then you put
clarifying.
it on your table, and then you can do it. It works good. I mean, still, there's nothing. I mean, besides the CNC machine, you still got to work it. Still got to, because if you put too much pressure up, it'll grind too far. But once you learn that finesse, you can grind a pretty good grind on it.
My experience has been that if you are able to hand grind a knife or use a jig, but certainly able to hand grind a knife, you can take this method, and because you've got that finesse, and I do mine bare-handed because I can feel the heat to make sure I'm not getting too much heat into the blade. And Don had taught me a couple of things. Number one, we line the table with tape to ease the smoothing, and I'll wipe the table down just to pull the grit off of it if I get any there and keep it clean. But then as soon as that beveled edge makes contact with the belt, as soon as it kisses it, start pulling across the belt at that point. And then as the tip gets close to the center is when I start rolling it out. And it just makes a beautiful, beautiful tip on the knife. And I have found it to make it very easy to make very crisp lines. But as Don's saying, if you don't finesse it up to that point and just pull it across, you will you'll gouge it out just like you would any other time. The other thing is making sure you keep your surface clean, whether it's steel or tape or whether you put Teflon skin down or whatever, is keeping that very clean so that you can pull the knife across without having any friction, because that friction will cause some chattering in your grind also.
Yeah. And also make sure to follow what it's really made to do is you have to follow the curvature of the blade. I mean, talking about as far as not the blade, but the
edge
of the blade.
Edge design,
yeah. You just keep following that. If you got a recurve, I haven't done a recurve on it yet, but I know a guy that does them. They look great, and you just got to follow the curve as you move, and then follow it back down. So
kind of like when you're hollow grinding. You just follow the edge.
Yes. Yeah, you want to follow the curve. If you have a big belly curve on your knife, you'd have to follow it down and then bring the handle of the knife down as you come through. But and just follow the edge, man. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. You might have you done very many knives, Chip, with that? Have you done?
I've only done one knife. I did a sample piece of steel, and then I did one knife with it, and turned out okay.
What I recommend is I would find out what, because I try to do a lot of grinding before heat treat. So I try to figure out the edge I want pre-heat treat, and then I come back in. But what you could do also is mark your bevel lines, your flats.
Your height.
And your height of your flats. If you do that, I went online. I don't know if guys know about it, but you can go in the triangle calculator.
Right.
Google that, and then put in your degrees, and you've put in what your thickness is, then put in your 90 degree. It's a little like a little pyramid. And then you put in your thickness that you want left on the edge, and minus the thickness of your edge, and then you can come over it and put what's your height of the bevel that you want. Hit calculate, it'll tell you exactly 3 degrees, 4 degrees, 3.2. And I'll tell you something else. A lot of people don't I know a lot of guys don't use jigs, but if it says 4.3 degrees, get it 4.3. Because 3 points makes the difference.
Oh, it does.
It will make a difference.
Yeah, another thing to consider when you're doing that is also
like 3/10 of an
yeah,
a
3/10
degree?
3/10 of that degree will make a difference.
Will make a difference.
And don't forget to subtract your finished width that you have before you do your final sharpen. So if you're going to leave a dime's thickness, on that, you've got to subtract that from that overall width, or else you'll end up with a zero grind on it.
Yeah.
And so make sure you think about that. All in all, though, those particular devices are, I think I've got $330 or so into it. I don't remember exactly. It's somewhere around there, plus or minus $20. Don, with that, the price and everything, and if somebody's got a platen that they want to adjust when they do it, I mean, you don't have to buy the platen. I just wanted
$150.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a platen that was already set, and I didn't have to do anything with it. Is it nice enough that you would go out and buy this because you're going to make knives like this a lot, or do you think it's more of a, hey, this is kind of cool to make knives this way sometimes, but if I'm going to make a lot of knives, I'm going to do it X way? How do you feel about that, Don?
Well, number one, if you're making the same style of knife, I mean, if you can make them and if you can make the knives and get the bevels that you want, I don't know why you wouldn't use a jig. I mean, it's, to me, everybody has their own differences about that. Some people say if you don't hand grind, we talked about this on the show. If you don't hand grind, then you're really not a knife maker. But we know in life that's not true. No. But if you're making, look at mowing knives. He came up with his own jig. I don't know. I think out of Texas. That man still, I think he's still living. That's what he used to grind his bevels on his knives. And,
I have one of those mowing jigs. They're nice. I really like them. Yep.
I tell you what, Don, you make some beautiful knives. Regardless.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So would you say it's a must-have or like to have or let it go?
I'll tell you what, whatever gets your, I know started out making knives a little over a year ago. And I had guys say, just sharpen knives. Like Andy Roy said, man, just make 50 knives. Well, I think you need as a new knife maker is wanting to get in this, the hardest thing is to grind the bevels, man. Right. That's the hardest thing. And, I think to build confidence, if you can start out using a jig, just like Erick Rivers did, a lot of guys on the YouTube started out using a jig, and then build your confidence because we got to face it. It's about a sense of accomplishment. You want to do something and do it halfway decent. But to answer your question, I would recommend a jig for someone to start out doing that. Yeah. That way they can get a couple knives, 3 or 4 knives underneath their belt and say, okay, man, I go ahead and start maybe try and do it by hand. Where I tell you, man, Luke Berry, man, he's come a long way, man, because he's been making knives about as long as I have. And but the thing, I was thinking about you today, Luke, when I was grinding.
Hopefully good.
Oh yeah, Luke.
Oh yeah. But I tell him all the time he's blessed. He's sitting there with 4 knife makers. It's different in my shop.
Telling him everything he does sucks.
If you go out there. I go out in my shop. It'd be nice if I could walk out my shop in the morning and friggin' Andy Roy is sitting there. Okay, you ready to get started?
Yep.
How much further along would I be in my knife making?
Yeah, and I say that, Luke, that everything you make sucks is because you've got those 4 great guys. So anything you make is always going to be subpar until they know you are new.
Unfortunately, whenever I saw the Pops post for Luke's position, I was like, man, if I was 18 years old again,
right?
I was like, dude, I'd be calling Andy Roy right now.
Right. It's honestly, it's a great gig. If you're, I think they have it geared more towards college students that want to see what the field is like, trying to have some part-time work while they're getting their life started. It is a exceptional place to start. The knowledge that I have learned from them is something that I am forever grateful for. They have taught me so much. And they've even said that now, even though I'm moving on, that if I ever have any sort of questions, the shop is still open to me as an apprentice, as a part of the Pops family. Anytime I need to use the shop or need to come in and ask for help, I'm like a brother. Like I'm still a part of it. So the knowledge I have.
We were recording up front. People may not realize that you're leaving. So Luke's actually leaving because he's going to become part of the, what is it? The Chippendales. Yeah. What was it? What is that haircut you've got? The
I call it the mullet fro.
Yeah,
That's
the mullet,
the
mullet fro Chippendales.
That's the frullet.
It's a southern dance.
frullet.
It's a southern
Yeah,
dance.
frullet.
But yeah, they wear
frullet.
Daisy Dukes and they cowboy boots and they dance.
Yes, sir.
I guess be a dancer while you're young, Luke. Be a dancer. Actually, Luke's getting into the audio-visual field and finishing up his college degree. And so if you didn't know, we're really excited, and he'll be doing some work with Pops on different projects and such. So that is excellent. Hey, guys, let's take a little break, not a big break. Let's take a little break. And when we return, I've got something special for you. We'll be right back.
Hey listeners, let's take a moment today to thank one of our sponsors for today's show, and that sponsor is Ameribraid Grinders. Erick and Kevin over at Ameribraid have sold thousands of these grinders, and they are super nice guys, and their customer service is excellent. I would know. I've been personally using their 2x72 grinder now for 2 years, and it has changed my knife making to a whole new level. So if you're in the market for or looking to upgrade from that 1x30 or 2x42, then give Ameribraid a look. There you'll find they have 3 packages of grinders to offer. They have a Mastery package, a Foundations package, and a Get Grinding package, in which all of them come at different price points. So I'm sure you'll find something that'll suit your needs as a knife maker. Also, Ameribraid has a ton of innovative attachments for their grinders. So listeners, you can find out about all of this at www.ameribraid.com. Go give them a look, see what they have to offer today. And now, back to the show.
All right, Don. Well, hey, listen, thank you for filling us in on that. Yeah, and as far as the that tilt table and all goes, I would say it's not necessarily a must-have. It's a tool that's available to you that if you find it useful in all of your knives or some of your knives or just the way you want to do certain things, it's out there. So if you're an Ameribraid or a Houseworks user, or someone else that makes the tools, you really ought to look it out because it's really a great opportunity to make knives a different way.
Can I chip in and say something real quick about those?
Yeah, if you get that person to quit stirring their tea over in the corner.
Hey, that ain't me, dog.
Who is that? All
right. So I started off freehand grinding. I was told that the best way to learn is to learn the hard way. And up until yesterday, I have never done anything different. When I say we, myself, Adam Love, and I, we took one of Ameribraid's tables and cut the notch in it deeper and adjusted our platen to a steeper angle, and just to see what it's like, kind of made our own table to see what it would do, grinding that way. And I gotta say, speed-wise, it takes a lot of time out of grinding a bevel. It's a different learning curve doing it that way, considering that I've only done it freehand since day one. But it's a great place to start. I think even though it's different, if you're looking to get in and start off with some really clean bevels, that's a great place to start.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, how about some feedback?
Please.
Feedback is good. All right. Well, hey, listen, I'm all about, feedback, good or bad. We got to listen to it. We got to respond to it. So I was out there on the internet and I saw, here we go. Guy by the name of Half Stop. Good show with lots of potential to be a great show. 2 things that bring the show down. You ready for this, Luke? You're not a sensitive fellow, are you?
I am.
Uh-oh.
I like how he's so honest.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Too many advertisements break up the flow. All right. Sorry, we have to have advertisements. That's what keeps it coming in. The other one is Chip interrupts the knife making discussion with off-the-wall attempts at humor far too often.
I just think,
Yeah, you're. Nah, come on.
Oh yeah.
naturally funny guy.
No, I'm not. I'm a smart aleck. I'm a sarcastic smart aleck. But well, so far,
Who wrote this?
what's that?
Half Stop?
Yeah, we
Who
have
wrote
to.
this?
Yeah, what's Half Stop's real name?
I don't know.
Huh?
Stalker mode activated.
We're gonna go find Half Stop. No, it's good to hear that because I have been told throughout my life, would you quit being so funny? But anyway, how about doing so far tonight? Try to keep it in check.
You're doing pretty good.
The cough is helping.
It's probably it's just the cough and having to go silent here every once in a while. All right, now let's get to the good stuff. Hey guys, we do have to have advertisements on here, and there's a reason for that. Just so you know, we don't charge for any of our advertisements for the people that we have on as of now. So don't call us tomorrow and ask for free advertising. Doesn't mean that we won't do any free advertising, because if you want to advertise an event, your club, your council, your group, or whatever, we'll be happy to do that. But as far as products go, we certainly want to stand behind what we're doing. And while there may be some products, and if you think that there's a reason that we should be advertising your product at no cost, we can consider that. Otherwise, there'll be a small nominal fee, because when we set this out, we didn't put together a podcast so we didn't have to do our day jobs. We put our podcast out so we continue to grow the community. So we have to have advertisements. And the other part of that, it tells people where they can go get things that we believe in. So if you want a big power hammer, you just have to go to Athens, Alabama with a big trailer. And if you can get past the guard dogs and his shotguns, you know exactly where to get a big power hammer now. If you want it, it's right. And Josh is like, yeah, come and try and take it.
They ain't leaving with that.
I'm just going to sit out there in a lawn chair. I don't even need shotguns. Go ahead and pick it up and try and haul it off.
I had a 60-ton crane put it in place, so good luck.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you've got products out there that we believe in, we want to share that with you, and that's part of the community. As far as the interrupting and all that, I take all of that seriously. So hey, I'll see where it goes, and if listenership has been going up, and in this past few weeks, it's really been going up. So if we see a lot of people start saying that with the additional listens, I will learn to back off and find out what makes the show flow. So not a big deal. I'm glad to hear that information. Our buddy Slingblade says, thanks for filling my shop hours with funny and interesting discussions. I like the way you make me feel.
No.
It ain't got no gas in it.
Sounds like Don's grinding. I want to grind. I like the way you make me feel a part of the conversation. So you have to read the whole sentence.
Oh.
I want to make Damascus and maybe some with copper. Can you all add a future episode? Add this to a future episode. Hope for future success. I will be listening. So there we go. Hey, that brought us all back up again. We're feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know that Erick's not on here tonight, but he's done some copper.
He has.
Yeah,
is that copper sand mine or something he's done? Is that what?
Kumai.
Kumai. Excuse me, Kumai.
I think he's even done Gomai.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my.
See, that's where Half Stop saying that's too much, Jet. That's too much. We don't need any of that kind of stuff. But anyway, hey, that's good. Maybe we can get that in a future episode. Maybe we can do some special episodes, or refer people to certain web pages or YouTube pages where maybe Erick's done something like that, or even Joey with that new beautiful white background. You need to be doing some YouTube. I'm just telling you, you got the face for it.
All right,
you got the face in the background.
Personal, yeah.
So start doing it.
Here comes our next guy, Mr. Roddy Red. Roddy Red. He says, you guys are killing it. I was eating at a Mexican restaurant this week and asked for their hot sauce for my chips. Damn! ! I took a bite, and about 4 chips later, I sucked down a Coke, ate my sour cream, down the cheese, and sucked down another. I asked the waitress what that was, and she said it was their hot sauce. I can stand the heat, and I asked her what was in it, and she came back and said it was ghost pepper.
Oh, okay.
The cook looked around and asked if I was okay. I said yes, but I had just asked for the hot sauce. He laughed because the waitress misunderstood, thinking I wanted the hottest sauce. Good gosh, you tell Barney that my hiney was burning for about 3 hours too. It was on fire. Laugh out loud, or lots of love, whatever LOL means. Loving the Knives Templars. So,
Goonie Google, my friend.
yeah,
there you go. Goonie Goo Goo.
That's good. That's good. I guess if you're eating in a Hispanic restaurant, I don't know if she was Hispanic speaking or Spanish speaking or what, but yeah, make sure you're clear on what you want, I guess. You guys ready for a Templars tip?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
we're
sir.
ready.
Let's go.
All right, I got one for you now.
Hey, this is Jason. I have a terrible cold and I sound like I'm in a hole or something, but just clogged up. Anyway, having a cold, it's cold outside, being cold. What all that made me think about was actually glue. One of my favorite tips has to do with how to manage epoxy when it's cold outside. Um, Epoxy is really just a chemical reaction between the two parts of the epoxy, and it polymerizes and hardens. And they do some chemistry stuff to make it harden slower or faster in terms of what they anticipate. Um, but one of my pet peeves is getting involved in a knife project and then having to wait on glue to dry or to cure, right? Nobody likes that. So here's the tip. Heat will increase the rate of the polymerization of the epoxy. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you're working in the summer and your epoxy's nice and thin and everything's great, if you set it out in the sun to cure, it will still cure faster. If you're working in the winter and your epoxy is thicker than toothpaste, I mean, just gunk, it'll still cure, but it'll cure a lot faster if you put it on top of or in front of your shop heater. Now, I'm not talking about 180 degrees or something. If you can bump it up to probably even 120, you're safe. But that will dramatically accelerate your cure time without any loss in function. I can tell you this works with the Bob Smith varieties. So the epoxy you would get at Pops or USA Knife Maker sells it too. The 15-minute or the 30-minute, those will work in that condition. 5-minute cure so fast it doesn't matter. It also works with G-Flex. That's what I kind of prefer. But it's a way to, again, accelerate the cure time of your glue in a way that helps your workflow. There's my tip for this round. Hey, this is Jason Fry. Did you ever think knife making would be easier if you just knew all the tricks? Well, good thing for you, I wrote a book on the subject, Knife Making Hacks, 384 Tips to Make Knives Like the Pros. It combines my years of experience with the research I've done on other writing projects with pretty pictures of some of the world's best knives. There's some humor in there as well as some good knife making wisdom and knowledge. It's available wherever books are sold, gundigest.com and my website, frycustomknives.com/books. Pick up a copy today and learn to make a knife like the pros.
All right, guys. So, hey, Jason Fry is going to start being a regular contributor to the Knives Templars with some Templars tips. And just so you know, as he mentioned, go out and take a look at his book. He's got a lot of questions and answers out there for guys and tips that are great for the new and the experienced knife maker. So look for Jason on all of our future episodes. Jason, thanks for coming on and doing that. Hey, guys, how about a little bit of DIY knife vice discussion? Have you guys gone out and seen those knife vices and the prices on them?
Oh yes,
yeah. I'm interested in this because I need to make one, so
they're lined.
I'm listening.
Well, I mean, if you've got $160 to $200, you can buy an extremely nice one, I would say, right? But there's lots of videos out there on YouTube. But I ended up making my own. Has anybody else here made their own?
I looked into making one, and I went to the metal store and I priced different size pipes that would fit nicely into each other and stuff. And plus labor and time and welding and stuff. At the end of the day, I just decided to go ahead and buy one.
Yeah,
The
and it's a nice piece of
difference,
equipment. Yeah,
the price difference wasn't enough to justify me spending half a day fiddling with it and making the wooden pieces and drilling and tapping.
Do you know what
So you know
model?
what?
What model do you have? Which one do you have?
I bought it. Bought one. I think it's same one as Joey has, a little square one.
Gotcha.
From a Texas knife maker or something
All
like
right.
that.
And
Yeah, so it does all right. I mostly used it for sanding my handles.
perfect place. Yeah, right there is the best one. Yeah.
Yep, just twist it around,
Yeah, it's when you need to
and
turn that handle horizontal is when you need it. So it's a lot of money for me to do that, and I'll tell you what I ended up doing, and it really depends on the cost of materials and time. You know, like anything we do, it's time and money, and those ones that you purchase and powder coated and everything are beautiful. But what I did, I decided I was going to make one. Probably, and what it comes down to, my wife didn't need to see another Amazon purchase from me that that I had to ask for forgiveness, which is easier than asking for permission. But what I did is I went out and bought a 12-inch long piece of 2-inch square tube, and it was a 1/4 inch thick, and I drilled 2 holes in it. And I threaded those 2 holes, and I went out and bought 1/4 20 handles that you screw down like you'd use on a lawnmower or anything else that you use 1/4 20 handles on. And inside of there, I took 2 pieces of aluminum, and I then got, I'm trying to remember where I got the silicon rubber. I think it's out of the plumbing department at Lowe's. And I probably had about $35-40 in the whole thing, because the piece of steel was for somebody, you can find things on Amazon where they just practically give steel and stuff away. And I had Amazon Prime, so I didn't have to pay for the shipping. So I drilled a couple holes. Then I cut my aluminum that were 1/4 inch thick plates to slide in there. And on top of that, I used double-sided carpet tape and adhered the silicon to the top of the aluminum so I'd have something that was a non-scratch surface. So now what I do is I can just put the knives in between those 2 plates and screw down through those tapped holes, those handles, and it secures the knife in place. So what do I secure that to is I just use my Harbor Freight vise, and I can loosen it and turn it around in any direction that I need to be able to sand on those handles, which is primarily the only time I really use that type of vise. So I've got it for probably 20% of the cost, because I was able to shop and get my stuff rather cheap, and some stuff I probably had laying around as well. So that's how I did it. And I don't know if I can explain it any better than that. That's about it. But a couple taps, drill press, and cut off saw, and you can make one very cheap.
I hear what you're saying there, but for me, it was a matter of time.
Right.
Time is at a premium for me, and spending all my day at the shop, failing cars, giving bad news to people. It's time it's time consuming. And then after that, I run to my little shack there to grind some steel, make a handle and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, if you can make it, go ahead. Congratulations, good for you. I just couldn't justify, spending the money on material
And the
and
37
my
minutes it took me to
labor
make
and
it.
my time, and then Joey just sent us a link there. You know, $130, I think.
Yeah.
$140 for the thing.
Yeah.
So I said I just ship me one and good to go.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on what you want to put into it. Now, I will say this: TR Maker makes a nice one that I saw also. And Mark, you had something back. You had some interactions with TR Maker here recently, didn't you?
I did, and so I was really excited. So not excited that originally I got a file guide and had some problems with it because I couldn't get my guard to go flush and thought it was my fault. But then I checked my file guide and found that the carbide plates on there were tilted just a little bit, and so it wasn't perfectly flush on there. So eventually I went and tried to contact TR Maker, and with a little assistance from our own Chip Carlisle here, that he got me in touch with. Now I forgot who's the owner of TR Maker.
He's from Turkey, but yeah, go ahead.
That's right. And so got in touch with him and emailed him, and he responded right back and said that, hey, let us show us some pictures and let us know. And he said, yeah, that was absolutely a one-off thing, that something got past quality control somehow, and that he didn't have any of those made right now. But as soon as he got them done, he would get back in touch with me and send one out. So I'm looking forward for that. But in the meantime, I went and I didn't want to wait, right? So I went and bought another one. And so it's not bad having two in there. So I'm giving a different one a try just because I wanted to finish up this current hidden tang that I had.
Yeah, that was pretty good interaction with that guy. He did a good job.
No, it was great.
Yeah, I have 3 of those. One, I got it off of Amazon. Worked all right, but it wasn't leveled. I got one from Nordic Edge. It's pretty good, very, very good. Okay, the carbide inserts are very nice and even. But the best one, man, is that monster I got from Brazil. I wish I could bring those and put them for sale here. They are top quality. It's just that the shipping from there to here is the same price as the tool itself. So the final cost would be over $300 for a file guide, with shipping and everything. So it's not worth it.
Well, I'm not saying from Brazil. What country is below Brazil? Anybody that's coming to America across the border these days?
Below Brazil?
Yeah.
Uruguay, Argentina.
I was just curious because we're having a lot of problems with people crossing the border. So if you could just get everybody to bring one of those in and bring it to you, your shipping would be essentially free. you just have to be at the border to collect them all.
I'll take that.
And pay your import duty. So
Yeah, but
that was some more of that.
Good file guide.
I'm sorry.
Good file guide goes a long way for you to
I must
set
apologize.
your guard. Even your plunge lines. You can set really decent plunge lines with them file guides.
I must apologize. I'm not sure if Half Stop would have felt that was appropriate humor or not. I go back there. And with Half Stop in mind, guys, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Majestic Forge is owned and operated by Brian and Kayla Horn in Rushville, Ohio. With many years of experience manufacturing 2 to 5 burner gas forges, Majestic Forge is your #1 source for blacksmith forges, farrier forges, and specialty forges. They are dedicated to creating top-of-the-line forges at a price you can afford. Majestic Forge has supplied forges to blacksmith schools, high schools, colleges, production shops, and TV shows such as Mythbusters. And Majestic Forge is the forge of choice for televisions forged in fire. Knife makers are in luck as they offer forges that come with 2 or 3 deluxe burners. Here at Knives Templars, we are sure that you can find a USA-made Majestic Forge to suit your needs. Check out your next forge at majesticforge.com.
All right, guys. Well, we are back. Man, I tell you what, I always wondered, I don't know if we could do this show in 1 hour. I mean, approaching the 2-hour mark, it seems like I'm always rushing to get everything in. When we get to talking, it just keeps going. I don't know if the rest of the world finds it funny or not, but it's or fun to listen to or not. But I tell you what, it's a fun 2 hours in my life. Hey, I have some questions here tonight. Y'all ready to give some Templars answers?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, you're a Templar now too. You ready to give some answers?
Let's go.
All right. Let me see here. This would be a good one. Bad Monkey says, I'm thinking of buying a new forge. My homemade forge is being problematic. If you were going to buy a forge from a manufacturer, what would it be? I don't want to spend more than $500.
I mean, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say Majestic Forge.
Well, I didn't say it.
Well, it's less than 500.
Yes,
and,
it is less than 500.
If I've been looking at upgrading to a Chile forge, so
I need to reline mine.
So what do you say, Josh Howard? Josh Howard's expression just went from the typical North Alabama cool dude stare down to he smiled and his finger came up and he shook it. So
well, it's out of his budget, but I've run a lot of different forges, and the best production forge that I've ever ran is a Chile forge, or Chile, or however you want to say it. But they make a 1-burner little Tabasco forge that does anything you could ever need.
Yep.
What's the
But
name
they're
again?
definitely Chile forges. They're out of this particular feller's budget, but if you can save up, you will not be disappointed.
Chili as in like a chili pepper?
Correct. Chili is in a chili pepper.
Chili pepper.
Yeah, you can look them up online. I think if you just look up Banana Forge, it'll go right to it, Odacir.
I'm looking them up. They're nice.
Yeah,
what makes them better than regular forges?
Well, the insulation that they have in them, and the way they have the tubing inside, all that, I believe, from what I've read, it's all insulated with that ITC 100, and it's all coated.
And that's chiliforge.com, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a knife maker, you can get away with a 1-burner, but let's look at the 2-burner model that they've got right here.
Diablo?
Yeah, let me see. The 2-burner.
Also, their burners are like proprietary, the way they made.
Their burners are very nice.
Yeah, they're more efficient.
I gotta look into a new forge. I mean, mine is really old and the lining is falling off, and
So here's what I'd say.
But
the guy
in that guy's budget,
it's $500. You can't go wrong with a Majestic forge. And Majestic's told us that people are buying forges. They mentioned they were listening to the show. So yeah, do go with Majestic. But I will tell you, there's other ones out there on Amazon that you can find. And if the company has a real website and you read the reviews and you're getting good reviews, not a good review, you're seeing thousands of good reviews, you can be pretty comfortable in that. I like to go with things that kind of have refractory board in it. If you're just using KO wool coated in Satanite, it's not a bad forge. It works just fine, but you just got to find the right material that's for you. For me personally, I would go with a Majestic forge.
How much was the Majestic forge that you have?
3-burner was like $560 or so.
Nah, that 3-burner is too much for me.
Yeah, I got the 2-burner. It was like $325.
Yeah, I turned the second burner on.
A new forge.
I turned the second burner on for the first time.
But you know what?
Forging.
Of lately, I've been using just 1 burner out of the 2. I found that when I'm heating my steel for my quench, having them 2 burners, I was overheating the tip.
Right.
And I had a couple of blades where I broke off the tip. It was way hotter than the rest of the blade.
Right.
So I dialed it back down just for to the front burner. Haven't had a problem since. So yeah, I mean, unless you're making a huge blade like a sword, anything over 12, 15-inch blade, that would be a 2-burner would be recommended, I guess. so that you can get keep the
I
heat
got the
even.
3 burner because I have the intent on making larger pieces down the road. So, and I've always just used a single burner. And when I was hammering out that knife last weekend, it's the first time I've ever turned both burners on. So,
Talking about a single burner, man, let me switch gears here real quick. How'd it go with that tuna cleaver when you heat treated that thing? I mean,
just fine. I heated it up with 1 burner. It's somewhere around 60 as far as hardness. Slices newspaper just fine. It's in its gun case, and I'm going to be shipping it over to Georgia tomorrow.
Nice.
So
I've
got 2 more to make.
That is a monster. That is not the typical chip knife.
No, I got a lot of.
No, that's not the typical chip.
I got a lot of accolades for that. Yeah, I got a lot of accolades for that, and it made me feel happy to get that because I realized I had done something that was outside of the norm that most of us do.
Yes.
No, who's making a tuna cleaver?
You would expect me to be making one of those.
Probably so out of anybody else, just because culturally, and also the fact that you live close to the ocean now, closer than I do. But the cool thing is that I got challenged, I did it, and now I've got 2 more to make, and people pay a lot of money for them, so I'm tickled with that. They are a pain to make because you're dealing with a lot of steel. Like I said, I've told everybody, you could clean a tuna, or you could fry an egg and sausage on it at the same time. Maybe a side of hash browns. So, it's a big plate.
If you're getting a vine in the woods and you have it with you, you could definitely use it for a pan.
You could chop down the tree, hunt the deer, and cook him on the same tool. So,
that's right. I don't know if Josh has seen it, but you should look him up on his Facebook page, the tuna cleaver.
I've seen the big tuna cleaver.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I'm still humbled by, because I know the knives that you guys make, so you make me blush a little bit here. Hey, Ranger Boat says, I am wanting to put a glass platen on my 1x30 Harbor Freight grinder. How do I do this so it's secure? What's the best method? I did that, but does anybody else want to add to that maybe had a 1x30? Go ahead, Luke.
Oh, wait, you said 1x30?
1x30, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I take back what
I said. Mark?
So, really, I just got my 2x72 this past year, and I've been using my 1x30. And when I first got it, really the first change I made was, on Erick's webpage, right? He had that, how to go to more of a full platen on the 1x30, right? And so that was really the first thing I did. And then I was trying to say that, hey, I saw some things about glass platens, and so I got I think it was at this fireplace store, got some fire glass and had it cut to like a 1-inch section. And really what I did is I tapped some holes on the bottom of my platen and put a little piece of metal as a shelf. And then really I used carpet tape, 2-sided carpet tape to adhere it to it, which I liked because I thought it gave it a little bit of cushion to, I wasn't sure if it was going to break or not, but I felt that instead of having it directly on the metal, that it gave it a little extra cushion. But overall, I ended up taking it off. I used it for a little while, but I actually had my belt hang over a little bit each side to soften up the bevels. And so, I didn't really, and my steel was pretty hard that I had for my platen. So I didn't end up using it for that long. So, but the carpet tape kept it on there. I mean, it wasn't coming off at all. So I thought it was really a good adhesion. But I also like the little shelf underneath it because I was always afraid that, hey, is this thing going to pop off and just fall down? So, I thought the shelf gave me a little more confidence.
So many of us started out on 1x30s as well as I did. It was a Harbor Freight. And I've still got 2 Harbor Freights. I've got one that's brand new because they were so cheap. I bought a backup one, and then it's brand new, still sitting in the box. And then I've got my older one that's there. And I looked into that, watching videos and everything when I started, and I found this neat guy out he might be in Montana or somewhere, but his website is called Little Bear Knives, and he makes ceramic glass platens. And not only does he send you the ceramic glass, he also makes a little shelf to go onto it. And
nice.
So you can take the existing for the 1x30 for our Ranger boats here. You can take that. You can go through and tap and drill into your, or you just have to drill 2 holes through your platen that comes with it, and then screw it into the little metal shelf that's already tapped for you. Secure that down. And then I use some tape that he provided, but the carpet tape works beautifully as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was secure in place, and it stayed there, and it was never an issue. Why that's so important with those 1x30s, it gives you some substance. It gives you a backbone to a flimsy platen that turns it into a thicker, hardened platen that also dissipates some of that heat. Not a lot. You got to be very careful on that little Speed Demon and those thin belts with no power. But you can turn out some cute little knives with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Little Bear Knives makes a great one. Now, when I got my 2x42 grinder, we all went up, and before I got the 2x72, I got the Dayton 2x42, and you can make beautiful. Yeah, the gerbil, yeah.
Grinders.
And I have a Dremel of grinders. Yeah, I have a friend that came over this past weekend that made his first knife on it and did it looked like he had a CNC grind on it. It was so beautiful. And he's an engineer, so I attest a lot of that to it. But it's just his way of thinking and knowing tolerances and stuff. He was very careful and did a beautiful job. But with that, I went to the fireplace store, got myself a piece of mild steel, and made my own little shelf, tapped it, cut through the back of that platen that came with it, and then mounted it with the 2-sided tape, and it worked beautifully. So Little Bear Knives, and some other folks out there make the 2x6 or 8-inch platens already, some with a shell, some with not. Here's what I recommend. Put the shelf on there. You don't want to take a chance of that thing letting loose under the heat and having that glass get shattered or start spraying everywhere. Put the shelf on there. The last thing I want to add to that, because hopefully Ranger Boats will work himself up to a bigger machine someday. And if he does, whether it's a 2x42 or a 2x72, on the 2x72s, the difference between those and the 2x42, instead of a 3/32 inch thick platen, now you've got a platen that's a 1/4 inch or thicker of hardened steel on a 2x72. And when I talked to the guys at Marabraid, I talked to the guys over at what's the other grinder? Oh gosh, it's bad when who else makes the other big grinder? Starts with a B. Broadback. Thank you. I'm sorry. Wonderful brand. Just lost it in my 58-year-old mind. But when I talked to them over at Blade Show, they were like, "No, you don't need to put this glass on here because the platen that we've got does a great job. You can still wear a dent into a glass platen, so you still got to keep up with it. So when you go to those bigger machines where you've got variable speed drives or variable frequency drives, and you've got nice thick platens that can dissipate some of that temperature as well as the length of the belt dissipating some of that temperature, I would just stay away from glass at that point. At that point, I think that you're getting away from, you don't really need it. I'll add one little piece here. Well, why not just put a thicker piece of steel platen on a 1x30? I think that the glass helps dissipate some of that heat a little bit better than a 1x30 inch piece of steel. It's just going to sit back there and heat up. So that's all I have to say about that. I am done.
Okay. Oh, I was going to tell you. Can I make a comment on that? Ameribraid, they do case harden their platens, but I promise you, they will wear down.
Oh, they will, yeah. And I bought 3 platens from them when I got the machine because I love change parts.
Why not 4?
Did you really? Good for, yeah, exactly.
No, I said, why didn't you get 4?
Oh, well, can I tell you that I've got 2 sets of refractory board to replace the refractory in my Majestic Forge if it ever comes. It's like $120 a set to put them in there. I'm like, well, I'll take 2 of those too. So, and I bought that a couple months ago. Just so I'd have it.
The platen on my grinder, it's out of HU.
Yeah.
2 steel. So it's been doing all right, holding on for some time. I started to wear a little bit of a groove on the bottom side, so I flipped it around. So we got another lease on life for that platinum
Right.
there, but I'll be looking into upgrading it shortly too. HU
Yeah.
seems to hold on a hell of a lot longer than the standard steel that came with it. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you're looking into buying something there, HU would
Yeah.
be a good option as well. I mean,
Josh, what kind of grinder are you running?
I run a Fear 454, and
Gotcha.
I've got a few AMK grinders as well.
Yeah. And as far as do you agree with us on what you work with a lot more steel? I mean, you kind of agree with that on the old glass versus steel and so on. Those
Yeah, it's
bigger
better.
grinders, you really don't need it.
I personally have not done the whole glass thing.
I don't
I
think
have
you get a
occasionally.
better. You don't get a better plunge or anything by having glass. It's just I think it just
No, I don't think so. It's just another wear component you can put on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Whenever mine starts getting dished out, I'll just surface ground them flat.
Right. So you mentioned turning that platen around, which is one way to get some more life out of it. You can also do that with your belts. I learned from Joey Theriot when the arrows say go one way, when you just turn around and go back the other way. You can also use a little bit of carbide to set and break up that ceramic and get a little bit more out of them as well. But when your belt is done, it is done. Don't try it because you will destroy your work using an old worn out belt that has no life back in it. Don't be hesitant to throw a belt away. It's a quickly wearing part. But I have another question here that came in from Robbie Tanner. He says, my conditioning belts look like they're getting clogged. Is there any way I can condition them back into shape?
I got this one. So I oftentimes will take a wire brush to them and run it for a good 10 seconds or so. And that just the wires get in there with the surface well, I call it like a Brillo pad. That's what I tell the customers when they ask what a surface conditioning belt feels like. And it just breaks up the fibers of the belt and gives it more life.
Gotcha.
Yeah, good tip. I needed to know.
That is a nice tip. I didn't do that. I was just get rid of the belt when it seems like it's lost. It's lost.
Any regular old steel brush?
Yeah, I've had the same surface conditioning belt for the entirety of my knife making career. I just keep putting the brush to it and keeping WD-40 on it, and it's a very slick finish.
Well, I am going to clean my belt.
One thing I will say about those conditioning belts, it's do not run it through a small wheel. It's gonna pop real fast. I had one blow up and hit me in the head. It wasn't fun.
I sliced one on a knife one time. I some stupidly turned the knife around the other way, thinking I could lay it in there, and I sliced through the belt, and it came apart, and I danced with it. Joey, you were going to say?
Oh, I was just going to mention that you can revive gator belts too when they get all clogged up.
The same way.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can run a diamond stone on them, and it'll get all the little grit and everything out of the little ridges. What? All the metal that gets impregnated into the abrasive.
Yeah,
I've also used a farrier's rasp, like the abrasive side of a farrier's rasp.
Right,
that gets in there perfectly fine and breaks all that.
Well, I'm going to clean up some gator belts tomorrow too. Thank you, Joey. I'm learning all kinds of things here tonight, guys. We've hit 2 hours real quickly.
Wow!
I know it's gone by. It's been good. We've learned about how to poo in the world. Anywhere you go. We've learned about a big old power hammer over in Athens, Alabama. Y'all scared Josh into being my friend.
28,000 pounds.
Thinking I'm gonna
8 feet of concrete.
Yeah, thinking I'm gonna start stalking him.
I mean, you are a stalker, so
you can see you can see Josh. You can see Josh. He's a good Alabama boy. He ain't worried about me. Trust me.
I've been Instagram stalking him, and man, Josh, your shop is beautiful, man.
It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, Josh, if you don't mind, I'm going to come over to your blacksmithing group and attend the meeting and see if they'll have me over there, because I'm actually a good listener when I'm on here, because I think our ability to listen is very important, or we'll never learn anything. There's always somebody that wants to tell you how to do something, but if you just sit back and listen to the ones that are sincerely trying to help, not the guy that's just trying to be a loudmouth, which is me. Sometimes you end up learning a lot. So I hope to come over and visit you there. Mark, what you got going on over the next week?
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna continue to work on the world's longest knife here. This hidden tang that I've been trying to finish up.
Yeah.
I've so I went from doing a belt finish that I've been doing on my other knives to say that, hey, I've heard a lot of folks are doing all this hand sanding, high polish finish. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do that. And then I've quickly learned that you need to make sure that you get the grit scratches out before you go out to the next grit. Sanding. So, I think I got up to 800 grit and I started like sanding for like 45 minutes and I was like, all right, this is no good. And I went all the way back down to I think I went to like 400 grit and started, working back up again. So, I'm working on
kind of like that tuna cleaver. It's just, you got to get past that one so you can move on to something else,
That's right.
It's starting to get into your mind.
That's right. That's right. It's like you don't want to give up on it. And then finally I'm like, hey, I got to give up on it and go back down.
What was your grit progression there?
So I got these new, and I have to find out what the belts are, but I got these new belts from Phoenix that they recommended that it was like a soft back, like almost a padded back belt. And I got those grits up to, I think I got those up to 800. So originally I was just going to do a grit finish. I did those. It came up really nice, but I unfortunately I put a little bit of heavy pressure on the center of the blade, and I had a little bit of a groove in there that I just didn't like. So I was like, yeah, that's what made me decide to go back and hand sand it. So then I went back down to 400 and worked my way up. So 400. Actually, I think it's I had something like 250, 320, 400, 600, 800, and then I have 1,000. So that's where I'm working on this knife for hand sanding.
So what is your intention there? Bringing it all the way to a mirror polish, or you?
No, I think so. I'm at 800 right now, and I think I'm probably going to bring it up to 1,000. And then leave it at that. I'm liking the finish that it's looking there. So I don't know. What's your recommendation?
I sometimes will take them up a little higher than where I want to finish and back them back down. So if I take it up to 1,000, I may back it back down to 800.
Yeah, I always finish my knives at 600. I don't bother going over it. My grit progression is, I said it before. My last belt finish is, not finish. My last belt grinding is 120, right? After that, I go to 220, 400, 600. But I make sure that I remove every scratch from the previous grit before I move on. And I will stop at 600 and then scuff pad and do the that set and finish and call it a day. On a high carbon blade, right? When you bring it all the way up to 2,000, 3,000 grit and you mirror polish that thing, the first time you use that knife on a piece of meat, or you cut a tree with some sap on it, it's gonna stain, and you're gonna be feeling like, oh, why did I even use the knife, right? So I don't bother going that high anymore. I did a couple, and I said, you know what, screw that, I'm not doing it anymore.
That's why Damascus.
It's a lot of work to just like that, and there's a stain in it, and it's kind of,
Yeah, Damascus, and acid etching and stone washing are some of my favorite finishes because you don't have to worry so. Well, no, I'm just saying I don't do.
They look good.
I don't do Damascus, but my point is that that I've done one piece, but the thing is that those types of finishes are more usable knife type finishes because they don't end up turning into a Corvette. You've got to keep polished.
Y'all can see the pictures I post, and it looks good to me, right? I don't don't know what y'all think, but it looks pretty good to me. I like the satin finish. All the lines are
Yeah, it looks good.
the
They
lines
look great.
all the
Yep.
lines are matching. So
Yep.
bring it up to 600. Make sure you clean everything up, and then get some WD-40 and some gray Scotch Brite pad. And just pull and pull and pull until you have that consistent satin finish from ricasso to the tip. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, it takes patience, right?
Yep.
Like I said
Yeah.
before, I would take 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours hand sanding a knife.
All right. Well, I'll do that
don't
and I'll
bother
post
me,
it.
but yeah.
So Don, what's going on next week or so for you, buddy?
I got a knife show coming up next weekend. So
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And where's that going to be?
right here in Lakeland, Florida. Down here in Lakeland.
And the name of the knife show is?
It's Gator Cutlery Club Knife Show.
And your booth will be?
Don't know yet.
All right. Look for booth. I don't know yet. And the guy's going to have some type of he'll have a dead alligator head on his table. He'll have a dead alligator head on his table.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So will about 25 other guys. You may want to put a stuffed skunk or something up there.
That is. We're in Florida, man.
You gotta put a little hat on the gator.
Look for Don at the show. Look for look for Don at the show. Well, we hope that goes well. Joey, what you got going on?
Got the old regular day job, and but knife wise, I got these two little Damascus, kind of like pocket skinners, I guess. They're probably like 5.5, 6 inches overall, and I got another lion killer in the works.
Oh wow,
nice.
And then
so do I.
Well,
yeah,
I would say
I love that profile, man.
Yeah,
that profile.
I would say
easy to grind.
I would say talking about
the
stalkers
lion killer?
though. Yeah, the lion killer.
Yeah, that's an amazing knife. I'm telling you.
It doesn't appeal to me, but it's got a nice story. I will tell you this,
Well,
Josh.
you haven't used it yet, so yeah, when you use it, you're gonna change your mind. I mean, when I first saw that lion killer design, man, I was like, maybe. After I finished it and I used it,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's my EDC now.
If I ever get eaten by a lion,
Yes, sir.
if I'm
my
ever eaten
EDC.
by a lion, you can say, "Hey, see, I told you, you should have had that knife." Josh, I did want to say that you need to watch out for stalkers. It'd be Joey because he makes toe bots. Is his day job? He's the toe bot man of the United States, and matter of fact, Guinness Book of World Records has him. He's in there for something, but anyway, toe bots, and you do robots, and I would say just be careful. You might find yourself on an episode of Robot Wars. So that would be pretty cool too. Maybe you could do the arms. He can do the your tow bots. They tow planes around, correct?
Yes.
So you and Josh could hook up. He could do the killing devices, and with the arms and all that, and you could do the traction control and everything that's on the ground.
Oh, so like Josh's will like destroy everything, and then I'll just have to like tow everything off the course.
No. No, there's the tank. The tank has a cannon, and then it's got the tracks, right? Yours would be the bottom half of the machine, the tracks and the
Gotcha.
all that. His could be the death nails that are running around on top of it, trying to take everybody out. I'm talking teamwork here, man, not fighting with each other.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you one other thing. I said he's from Alabama. You boys down in Louisiana are tough, and I'm from North Carolina. I don't have a dog in this fight. Don't y'all ever go to war with each other because ain't nobody gonna win that one. That's some tough boys on both sides. And no, there's a certain breed of a North Alabama outdoorsman. They're good guys. Definitely good guys to go to deer camp with. Josh, what you got going on?
I'm actually getting started on my centerpiece for Blade Show. I shared a little clip in our little chat group earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on.
Will you let us sit at your table and sell our knives?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Well, even though that Blade Show highly frowns upon that?
I'd be all right.
All right, you're a good man. What we will do is we'll probably when we come to Blade Show again this year, I'm not sure if we're getting a table yet or not. I'm waiting to find out. But if we don't get one, we're going to be giving out some swag from the Knives Templars, and we'll be definitely pointing out all of our Maker's Mark members that are on the show and where their booths are located. So we'll get with you out on later. So cool, man. Getting ready for Blade Show. I look forward to, you'll probably see me stalking you from behind a trash can or something there as well. It's like, damn, there he is again. Odacir, what you got going on up in Mississippi? I have a place in Laurel, Mississippi I'm responsible for, and then I've got you in Laurel, Maryland, and family up there, so I get screwed up. What's going on in Laurel, Maryland?
Not a lot right now. I'm looking forward to a couple of things. Next weekend is my son's graduation at
All
Fort
right.
Benning, so I'll be flying there on Thursday. We'll be spending Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Excellent.
around there. Knife-wise, I bought a couple of books. I posted a picture on our chat group.
Yeah.
And I found a couple of interesting historical daggers. One of them, several of them being triangle and squared. Think of it like an ice pick, but longer
Right.
and a bit more stabbier. So I'm gonna be working on one of those squared
Stabby
daggers.
thingies?
Yeah.
Stabby thingies.
Yeah, a
Does your son
stabby dagger squared.
Does your son know where he's going to get his orders for yet, or does he get that after he graduates?
Well, he's finishing up his basic this coming Friday. After that, he'll still stay at Fort Benning for another 2 or 3 months, something like that, for his tank school.
Oh, so probably end up North Carolina.
I don't know. As far as I know and what I heard is that the biggest tank brigade is in Texas. So
Yes.
he's probably going to be spending some time and,
Yeah, there's a lot of
somewhere
tanks
around
at
there.
Fort Bragg, but Texas also. Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh, we've known that young man since he was in high school, and he's a respectable young man. He's making a real great example of himself, how a young man should lead his life, and he's living his life in a way that shows respect for his parents and honors what they put into him. So tell your son that we're proud of him, Odacir. We really
Yeah,
are.
man.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Luke.
man. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm happy. I just, I want to, I really want to go there and I want to see, the whole graduation thing. I don't know what's going to be happening.
Yeah, they're probably going to do a big parade, right? I mean, that's normally what they do at the graduations. Is that what they said they're going to do, or?
Yeah,
I don't know. If somebody knows exactly what
they'll do a parade, but in the end, it's Odacir. He's only worried about one thing. Hey, son, can we get one of those tanks to go deer hunting with sometime?
He's going to want metal from the tank to make a knife from.
Yeah, I need a piece of a track or something, make a guard.
Yeah.
Why not?
Luke, what do you got going on the next week or so besides a new employee orientation?
I am in the process of finishing my pre-heat treat for 37 blades.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm doing a really big batch right now. I'm doing 8670, 440C.
You're
chef
profiling
cut.
all these yourself?
Split between myself and Adam.
Oh, okay.
But I do all the pre-heat treat grinds. I taper
Yeah.
all the tangs. And
Now, does Adam do this full time, or are y'all both?
No, he's part-time as well.
Oh, wow.
We're both doing this on the side. We're very busy individuals.
You're very busy? Very busy?
Very, yeah. Very busy.
Yeah.
My thumbs are
scorched.
So they're scorched right now, which is why I tried the tilt table earlier, because I couldn't stand the heat of freehanding. But I'm about to start doing some W2. I have that preheat treated. It's a little bit different, grinding that down thinner than I would normally.
Right.
But enjoying the process. Making knives, man.
We're proud to see where you're growing as a young man too, and don't take me calling you a young man as derogatory. We'd all love to be. your age again, because you got the whole world ahead of you, son.
Yeah.
You do a great job. You're good. You're good. You also live in a way that honors your mother and father as well. So congrats on your big move that you're making here, and I'm sure it's going to work well for you. As far as me, guys, I'm going. Like I said, I'm going to start beating out knives, and just seeing where it takes me. I may make a bunch of steel bananas and steel flat bananas and things that are ugly, but I'll find out if I've got it in me. I know that they say if you keep doing it and you've got any skill, you get better at it. So we'll see what it looks like over the next couple of months, because everything I make, I want to try and beat out of some steel. But we're coming to the end of our show, and I just want to let you guys know, especially our buddy Half Stop. We are sponsored by the Rivers Experience, Last Blade Standing, Knife-Wood.com, Ameribraid, Majestic Forge, Byford's Gun in Hartselle, Alabama, Pop's Knife Supplies, and everybody that listens to this show. We appreciate that. Hey, guys, we'll listen to our list of resources and materials and things that you can find out about us on social media. We'll put that in our show notes. Make sure that you check out the the TRE Workshop on Facebook for Erick Rivers' Facebook site. Also, the Knife Templars podcast. We're approaching 100 members, and we just launched that a couple weeks ago. So that's going well, and we're starting to get a lot of activity out there, and we want to see you there. As always, if you have questions or comments, show and guest ideas, let us know. Subscribe and email us at the Knives Templars at yahoo.com, or you can DM us on Facebook in the Knife Templars podcast group. So let us hear from you. We look forward to that. Knives Templars at yahoo.com, or check us out on Facebook and DM us there. We'd love to hear from you. So that's all I've got tonight, and that's all of our friends. I'm seeing some yawns on the screen here, so we are done, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Knives Templars.
I'm sorry.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Oleg Bashevic has been making stabilized wood and other supplies for knife makers for almost a decade. His stabilized wood products have been used by many of the best and most well-known knife makers in the world. This wood, when turned into knife parts, are stable to humidity, water, snow, oils, and other materials that would prematurely wear out a knife handle. He works out of his shop in Tula, Russia, and produces natural wood products that are as beautiful as Russia's famed Fabergé eggs. Knife makers around the world will tell you that his blocks should not be cut and placed on display. Oleg has distribution centers in Russia and in the United States. He's shipping right out of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, so if you're looking for something in the States, you can have it in just a few days. I guarantee you'll be excited to get your package that comes wrapped beautifully, already polished, so that you can see the most beautiful grain and colors that he impregnates into each piece of wood. You can find Oleg not only on Facebook, but you can also find him at knife-wood.com. That's knife-wood.com on the internet. Go out and take a look at Oleg's products. I'm guaranteeing you'll be happy to put them on your next knife. And now back to the show. All right, that takes us to the after show. And as I do that, I will say, Josh, since you're new here, just make sure that when we hang up, that you will, your recording should say you recorded up to 99%. It'll go to 100%, say upload complete. And at that point, your upload will be complete and you can log off. If any of you get an email after the fact saying, hey, your upload is not complete, just log back into the Rivers Experience and finish your upload. We've never had any problem that didn't last more than an hour.
Riverside.
So. Riverside.
What did I just say?
You said the Rivers Experience.
The Rivers Experience. Just walk back into the.
Let me cut in here real quick. I've actually got to go to work, so.
Do you really?
My uploading thing is still at 99%. How do I make that go to 100?
Let me go ahead and stop.
Just leave your peak.
Yeah, when you stop, when you hang up, you'll see it should go up to 100, and just do that there.
Yeah,
so when I press the leave button,
when you press the leave button, you should be able to look at it, and it'll finish the upload. Just don't turn are you on a computer or a phone?
I'm on a computer.
Yeah, just don't turn the computer off right away.
Yeah, you should take like a second. I mean, if you're at 99, I mean.
Yeah, just make sure it says upload complete.
All right, gentlemen. Well, like I
Nice
said, I
meeting you,
appreciate
Josh.
y'all having me on here.
Josh,
Look
beautiful
forward to
night.
the
I'm
next
looking
one.
at your profile again. Yep.
Beautiful work,
I'll
man.
see you. I will see you at
Thank
Batson,
y'all.
brother.
Y'all
Hope to
take
see you
care.
again. Hope to see you
All
again.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Josh.
Cheers,
Bye bye
Josh.
now. Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
All right.
All right, I got to throw a couple of these in
Ooh.
here. Just 1 second so that I can, I don't have to go back and record these later.
Oh yeah.
Just 1 second.
Oh yeah. God damn, everybody knows that.
So how do you?
Hey, guys, shut up for a
Yeah.
second. Shut up for a second. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after this. Looking for a brand new or used firearm in or around Hartselle, Alabama? Head on down to Byford's Gun Shop and explore their latest offers and deals. On top of a great selection of high quality and affordable firearms to fit your needs, their staff will have you driving away with a smile. Byford's is a third generation business that has been serving customers since 1971. Started by Joe and his father Ernest, the business continues to prosper well into the 21st century with Jeff Byford's knowledge and leadership. With brands like Benelli, Glock, Sig Sauer, and many others, you won't go wrong. Also check out their large selection of AR-15s and hunting rifles in many calibers. Byford's carries ammunition, special installation service, knives, accessories, transfers, and customer service that's second to none. Stop in and see them at 510 Main Street West in Hartselle, Alabama, or like them on Facebook at Byford's Gun Shop. Their team can be reached at 256-778-3111. That's Byford's Gun Shop, where they go the extra mile to satisfy your shopping experience. Head on over today. They'll be waiting for you with friendly faces. So
We didn't have a chance to touch it on it during the podcast, but how do you like those that covering I'm using on those sheaths?
Yeah, what is that? Is that
Man, that's look. Yeah, dude, that leather's looking awesome, dude.
Yeah, doing good job, brother.
It's ostrich. I went to
I got
Tandy
some
a
ostrich.
couple of weeks ago, and I got me a piece of ostrich shin leather.
Yep. Yep.
And
I got some on sale like about 3 weeks ago.
Are you like gluing that onto the top of your sheet on top of your leather?
Yeah,
Cemented? Yeah.
Yeah, cemented and then stitched.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that
Is
ain't
it really
going-
is it really thin?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's paper
Super
thin.
thin.
Yeah.
That came out great. I was like, well, I gotta try that at some point. That's looking good.
No, it's awesome. That one and the stingray. I like the ostrich better than the stingray. The stingray is kind of stiff, and those little bumps are actually bone. So when you're drilling through it to do your stitching, it's kind of screwy there. So one of the. But man, I'm happy. I mean, I took January to do sheaths and sheaths alone. I haven't ground a single piece of steel.
your stitching looks really nice. That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got some beaver tail too from Tandy.
Okay, I think I seen it.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but it's weird.
I mean, is it like a same thickness as a ostrich? And
No, it's kind of a little thicker like the stingray and stiff.
okay,
Not as stiff, but
I mean, it would do a nice covering, man. I've seen a lot of people do some inlays, right? Where they cut
That's
and
what I was thinking
notch
about
and then they
doing.
make the inlay with those. I wanted to do that, but I said, you know what? Now let me try something a bit simpler first.
Yeah,
A simple covering. It came out.
It
really
came out
nice.
good.
It did.
Real good.
So yeah.
And then on the back of your sheath, did you put what would you put some grooving in? I saw in one of those that.
Yeah, just some grooving.
Yeah, it makes a nice touch. Like when you look in the back, it's not just plain; it gives a little bit of extra in there. I like it.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
beautiful.
Pinto, I got a question for you.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything you cannot do well?
Grow hair.
Grow hair.
Oh man.
My leather. I'm telling you, my leather's gotten better.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
I still feel like it's not there. I mean, I am my worst enemy when it comes to this. My worst
Your worst
critic.
critic is yourself.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
I
keep
mean,
doing it, man.
So
Just keep doing it.
let me ask you
You're doing a
guys:
good job.
you can hear more of an echo when I talk to you now, can't you, than I talked to you before?
not really.
No.
Not really, no.
I can hear it in my headphones. I built that speaker box where I stick my head in the box for the whole episode.
Oh yeah.
And
I built one, but I forgot to bring it.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
From work.
I'm probably going to come up with version 2. I might even turn one up. We've got so many rooms upstairs. I might turn one of. I've got a closet that I may turn into a. It's a big walk-in closet, an extra one that I may turn into a recording studio.
Yeah,
that'll work.
So yeah, Mr. Chip, I'm gonna be getting with you in a few days, maybe after I come back from Georgia. I think it's time for me to get my website ready.
Sure, I'd be happy
And
to
I'll
help you.
take you up on your offer to help me setting that up.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, I want to get that ready before I go to that show in Shenandoah Valley.
And then once we get it set up, it'll be in a way that you can maintain it yourself. And I'll be happy to help you 100% for life, as long as we're friends and you don't insult me like you did that last time.
As long as you don't ghost you.
Yeah, don't. As long as you don't ghost me. No, I'm joking. You've never insulted me. I'm indebted to you. You gave me that beautiful knife, and it's even beyond that. We're just good friends, and yeah, any help you need whatsoever. But I'm going to sit and show you how to do it so that you're not reliant. You're not reliant on me and or another person. That's what I want it to be. I don't care about purple.
So I think I'm finally comfortable enough with my making and not only the steel but now mating it with some good leather. I think I'm ready. So I want to get that done.
Let's definitely do that. Let me ask you guys another question. How many of you guys interested in going to Blade Show besides me and Luke this year and Eric? Marc?
I mean, I'm planning on it. For me, it's at 90% right now.
Okay. Don, any chance you're going to be able to go?
Do what?
Comes up.
Any chance you'll be able to go, Don?
I don't know yet. I don't know. That's still. Yeah. I don't. As of right now, no.
That's quite all right. The reason I say is just because I'm going to get some. I got to get some shirts made. I'd like to get. I'm actually. I went through that whole the vest thing, and then Odacir said we look like the village people, and I don't want to look like the village people. I was going for the.
You want to bring those village people?
I was going for the Knives Angels. The Knives Angels. And he's like, dude, you look like the leather man from the village people, and I'm like, I don't want that. So
all you're missing is the little head.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to come. What was that, Mr. Slade from South Park?
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky oinky oinky.